I don't want to like I think like fighting in real life is good to learn, but you can't do that in like movies. You can't really fight in a real. It's like you have to exaggerate, sell the hit, and all that stuff. So what's up?
Did you like that in Orgasmo? Like, okay, so this is the first time I'd seen Orgasmo. Had you seen it before?
I had seen. I guess that'd be good. A good point. A good starting point.
I mean, I was gonna let you warm up a little bit more too. But I was literally just curious.
No. I don't know if you want to get started. Do you want to get started? Or, no, I have seen this. I have seen it. I think 2.5 times. And I always say like the halftime because like I'll like kind of watch it while it's in the background or I sit down and watch it. But I recently saw it, no, actually 3.5 because I had seen Basketball first, and I went to the movies to watch that one. And then like it's kind of like my timeline for South Park it started when I was like in junior high. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got introduced to that first. And then with South Park, I saw Basketball, and I don't remember if it was because I saw South Park or whatnot. Because I remember South Park wasn't really South Park yet. It was still like people were trying to understand what it was. And then this movie comes out, and I remember watching it more because I think it's more because it was just a movie about sports. And I'm a basketball guy, so I remember seeing Basketball, and I was like, okay, no, I know the both sports, and then I just kind of I think this is one of those movies where I first started learning the creators of content. Mm-hmm. And I saw this movie when I was a kid. I saw Basketball, and it freaking cracked me up. So I was having a conversation in high school with a buddy of mine, and I was quoting Basketball, and he's like, "Oh, do you like Basketball a lot?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, Have you seen their first movie? And I go, "What?" He goes, "What movie?" He goes, "Orgasmo. Have you seen it?" I go, "No, what is Orgasmo?" And I remember watching, I think it was like Showtime, and it had it on there, like the title Orgasmo. I thought it was a porno, like.
Mm-hmm. Because Showtime, like, I mean, if you watch late enough, yeah.
And I thought, so I remember I was like, I don't really want to watch a porno. And then my friend told me to watch Orgasmo. I was like, I've seen that title before, but that's not like a porno. He goes, no, it's good. Watch it. So I was like, okay. And I remember watching it on VHS and then being like, oh, okay, this is, I like that movie is like way, especially watching it back then, it was way above my head. Like it just totally passed me. I didn't understand a lot of it. Like I didn't understand, like, I mean, not to say, I just kind of was like, okay, this is like a funny movie, but you know, you're a kid and you're in high school and you're watching like these hot chicks, attractive women on the TV. Though it's still a fake porno, you get more caught up in kind of that stuff. Now that I'm older and just watching it, and I was like, man, I gotta say, between these two movies, you can really you get to know like Trey and Matt a little bit better.
Yeah,
and you really get to. South Park is its own beast. Mm-hmm. But I guess we'll get started by there. Let's do that. By this point, we have music playing. We're ready. We're a little warmed up. All right. So thank you for tuning in. My name is CJ Robles,
and I'm Ben Garrett,
and we're doing Side by Side. Thank you for joining us. So we have found ourselves to the intersection of Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park.
Take us too long.
Yeah, I know. It's getting on these roads and these avenues that we just kind of make up as we go. There's a lot of stuff we can pass for easy, and we're just the way we kind of get there. We figure it out on our own. I call it organic. I guess film critiquing. We kind of just talk about movies, and then when we find it's all organic, all made from scratch,
all natural.
All natural reviews. This is and for the most part, I'm the guy that kind of. I've seen the movies a little bit, and I kind of come in with a fresh point of view, and Ben's the guy that kind of brings the little facts on the side. With these guys, I kind of already know a lot about them. I don't want to say I follow them like as like what I do, but I will say they made it easier for me to do what I do. And that's like doing the animation and doing voiceovers and just like doing just filmmaking and understanding it. These guys were independent filmmakers, and we were just talking as we started talking about which one we saw first and how we got introduced to it. And chronologically, Orgasmo came out first. It was 1996, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, this was written by Um,
Trey Parker.
Trey
Yeah.
Parker. Yeah.
And I don't know. I have on Wikipedia it was 97.
97. Yeah,
Yeah.
97. Sorry, 97. Yeah, yeah. Did I make that up? I don't know. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
it's
no, no.
not.
I mean, it was probably written in
Yeah,
95
yeah,
or
yeah. But I mean,
96.
it
You
was
know what I'm
released. It was
saying?
released in 97. Yeah, sorry. I
Well,
don't know
let's
why.
see here. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my bad. Let me let's fix that real quick. Yeah, it was 1997. Yeah, yeah, all of them say 97. I'm the one saying 96. Sorry, let me retract that. Yeah, so it was a 1997, and then basketball was 1998. So it wasn't written by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, but it's by David Zucker, and he's from, I believe, Airplane.
Yes.
He credited,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a writer of, yeah, Scary Movie 4, Airplane, Naked Gun. He's so this guy is the writer of, he's one of the, I guess, I don't want to call him the Godfather, but one of the fathers of slapstick comedy,
Hmm.
and it shows a lot in this movie, Basketball, about how their comedy is a lot like Trey and Matt Stone's, like it works together. I for a long time I thought these guys made this movie.
You
I thought.
know, it definitely has that feel to it, doesn't it? Like
Mm-hmm.
just the humor and everything like that. I mean, I'm sure they were like, oh, let's throw this in here, all this other stuff, because they're creators as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know that they had to have some ideas, and they were like, yes, like that would be great.
And I would like to see like what part of it, because it seems like it's just right up their alley. It seems like
Yeah,
this is like they're not even having any trouble making this movie. But I saw Basketball first, and then I like I was saying, I saw Orgasmo after a friend had recommended it to me, and I saw it on I saw the title on Showtime at night. And I thought it was like a real porno, but it comes to find out it's a parody about the not even just like the porno industry, just the Hollywood industry, the LA industry. So back
yeah,
then, this was a little bit way above my head, and I didn't really understand it. But now actually being in, I don't want to say the Hollywood scene. I did live in Hollywood for a little bit, but just kind of being in the entertainment world and kind of seeing how people treat you and how people on set are, and it really gives you a behind the scenes look and a very silly way of what a movie set's like. But I think what they're just trying to do, and in this, and I get it in both movies, but I really feel it in Orgasmo, and this is where Trey Parker really is throwing it out there. He's just trying to be offensive.
yeah.
Like I feel like he's just straight up trying to be offensive. Like is in the IMDb it says naive young Mormon Joe Young is recruited to act in a porn movies. It's just basically, yeah, it's this Mormon that I guess goes to, I forgot, he does his mission, right? That's why he ends up in
Yeah, his
LA.
mission's in LA.
He-
Now, one thing I want to you mentioned like being offensive and everything like that, and that's just really what he's going for. What I thought was interesting is this is rated NC-17, and I thought I did not see how it got that rated. It just must have, like you said, rubbed somebody the wrong way, because the way I hear that the MPAA, I think is what it's called, the way they rate stuff is completely objectionable, or it's
yeah.
objective. Sorry, like if they feel like it is rated R, like it is. Like hell, it was like what Beetlejuice was rated PG. They say fucking that. He
Yeah.
squeezes his balls. It's just like what I'm 90% sure. Double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's a PG movie.
No, yeah, I think because there's a time where they had to create PG. Yeah, I remember Red Dawn on August 10th, 1984. The action thriller Red Dawn, starring Patrick Swayze, opens in theaters. That's the first movie released. It's the first to be released as PG-13 rating, because they didn't know what to do with movies like that. They knew what a rated R movie was, and they knew
Yeah.
what a rated G movie was, and what a rated PG, but they didn't have that 13 or that
So you didn't even have PG-13 movies until Red Dawn. That's interesting.
yeah.
Um,
So
okay.
that's kind of weird. Like a lot of movies, like what Beetlejuice is around that time, like 86, 87, something like that.
Yeah. Well, and just kind of going on that little road there. I mean, what was it? Revenge of the Sith in the Star Wars franchise was the first PG-13 movie out of that bunch. Even Attack of the Clones in Episode 1, they were both PG. And Episode 1, I completely see PG, but Episode 2 could have been a PG-13 movie. And I just think that's kind of interesting. I mean, it didn't have near as, it might have been the violence in Revenge of the Sith, and just like Anakin,
I always forget that Star
getting
Wars
sliced
movies.
up.
Yeah, I always forget that. Yeah, he gets the ginsued,
Yeah,
barbecued and ginsued. I'll
yeah.
say that the I forget Star Wars or PG. Like they don't ever really. It's action movies, they're
Mhm.
sci-fi, and you think, and the way they do show things. But you're right, all this is subjective. And then as I'm getting older, and I start
There it
realizing things
is.
like what's up?
You said subjective. I said objective earlier. I was like,
Oh,
it didn't sound. It just didn't. It wouldn't sound right. But
yeah,
thank you.
I got you. I got you. So
I got the tiv right.
there you go.
Uh,
I mean, I understand what you're saying,
yeah,
but I think a lot of it's subjective. Where like even the Oscars, like who are the people, and then
exactly.
even in everything right now, just everyone just trying to tell you like do this and do that, and I always laugh at when it says 85% of Americans are doing this right now, and I'm like, well, when did we take this test? Because I didn't take this damn test. I'm in
Right.
America. I'm American. So how does this the test apply to me? It's like, well, you need to take it then. It's like, no, I always feel like stuff like that, censorship. They're always trying to control things, and I want to say that this that Trey Parker and for sure with Matt Stone, um, I understand why they go hand in hand, but I think they really were like, dude, let's just like because back then they were stretching the ratings, not how it is now. Now I think everything is just like silly. Like I mean, commercials for crying out loud are annoying the hell out of me because I'm just like I could write way better material than what this is, and this is what they're called. Because I remember being in school and they were like just breaking us down. That's not gonna be good, and you're like, all right, so you get yourself better, and then you see what's out there, and you're like, wait, that's it? That's what people are. I know I have classmates that made way better stuff than that, and I was like, okay, I guess just because it's all subjective. Who's willing to pay for the work or do the time? And so movies is also like that. Movies are very, very like a delicate commodity because they're not only like a time frame, a bit of a piece of time that they focus on, they're frozen on, and you get to kind of see how it is and what it is they're important because like the stories that come with them and how not like these two movies are very slapstick and they're very very out there, but all I saw was an Orgasmo that just not really. It's me. It's my preference. I'm like kind of annoying me was just you see a bunch of guys' asses. It shows a bunch of hairy asses. That's as far as it
And
goes as in the
it even
nudity.
covers up boobs too. I
Yeah,
mean, a good chunk of the time, which
they're,
is I think is hilarious.
they're gonna pull out the girl's gonna pull out her crab boobs, and the guy walks in the shot with his butt. It's like, it's like that. I mean, I really honest. I think they have the guy that owns the G the G Fresh the it's like is that the City Walk from South
Oh,
Park,
very.
but
I mean, it had to be some inspiration for that,
but
honestly,
but even that,
because yeah,
that character, like, is he offensive? Is he like, I think
it
he would.
is. It is if you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what their whole deal is. Is like you can take offense to this if you want, but no, it's always like they say it's like nobody's safe when it comes to South Park and stuff like that. Which I feel like these movies, like you said, I mean, they're inching their way into uh, that fame that South Park really kind of got momentum for, and yeah, man, like it's only offensive if you take it offensively, and that's I think that's it's a great way to look at it, because you're always going to have somebody that's going to be like, oh no, we don't like that, you know.
It is.
Um,
Yeah, keep going.
but yeah, no, I mean, but that being said, man, the Book of Mormon, it's a play by Trey Parker and I believe Matt Stone as well, and I actually went to go see it for my
Oh, okay.
birthday in 2016. My sister, we went to Houston and we watched it, and it was fantastic, dude. I mean, it was funny. It was all it was great, dude. Like it hit everything that I was hoping it would, and it was a fun play, dude. Like they took really serious subject matter and made it light,
Yeah.
and I thought that was a very cool thing. But one thing that really kind of struck me, and one thing that I always kind of mention, is that in the playbill, uh, the Mormon Church actually took out an ad,
That's
and they had their ad in there, and they said the Book of Mormon, and had that on there. It said our version is slightly different.
That's all. Yeah.
And and like they could have just been like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world, and blah, da, 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 and all this other stuff. But they took it with stride. I'm sure there were Mormons that were offended by it, but you know, they took it as a chance to, like, marketing almost. And it for half a second I was like, you know what, I can be Mormon if they have this kind of sense of humor. Sure, sign me up, dude.
Where there's
Um,
the which is it the South Park episode where they're like everybody dies and then who is it? Mormons are the ones that was the, oh no, I think it was a comedian. I can't remember, but like yeah, you had to be Mormon to survive.
yeah, no, that happened in South Park too.
South
They
Park,
also
right? Yeah.
had, yeah, they also had an episode where they were actually talking about the Mormon Church and how Mormons, got their ideals because they had a Mormon family move to town, and the entire time they were like, dum 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 dum, and then the Joseph Smith's wife said something like, that doesn't make any sense, and they said, smart, 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 you know. So
I really do need to watch Book of Mormon. I think what they do is they take the art and I mean that must sound pretty corny and cheesy, but they respect it and they give it the due that it's due. So they just make it their version. So it's not like they're coming out of left field with something completely different. No, they're playing within the realm, but they're just stretching it real far. And I mean, man, to be offended nowadays is so easy
Mhm.
to and that's I'm learning. I have to like really explain myself when I talk to people in real life because they got faces like and I'm just like, man, I don't even know if I really want to keep talking to you because it's like I'm not even trying to be offensive. I'm just talking, and half the time I'm probably regurgitating what someone else said, and you're gonna jump on me about that. I'm like, oh, but it really helps me clear out who I can talk and who I can't talk to. And I don't sensitivity to me, my levels. I used to be pretty victim mentality and sensitive when I was younger, as I was a child, and I realized that crying and complaining doesn't get me anywhere. And then once I really started, like, I mean, I knew all this humor about stuff. I didn't really know just to laugh at myself and laugh at, like, I knew to make fun of myself because that's kind of what a lot of people would do. Kind of make fun of you, but not really like find the dark things in you and twist them and turn them on you and make them funny about you. And then it starts being like, oh, well, if I can really know who I am and I really, nothing should offend me. Nothing should bother me because I know who I am. And that's especially like strangers, a parent telling you something might affect you because it's your parent. But then like you get older and I'm like, man, like we're supposed to be better than our parents. So we're supposed to be doing like a, I don't know. I just think you're supposed to help out the younger generation and respect the older generation at the same time because they help it hand in hand. And nowadays, I just think like anything is offensive, and I think if people that get offended comes up with like shortcomings in life or something like that, or
Yeah.
something where they feel like maybe they've made fun of somebody or somebody made fun. So I always feel like it's a family member or like a parent that made fun of you or something, and you couldn't break it. So now now everyone else has to deal with you. So I don't know. I like watching these movies. I like the thing about Orgasmo, the way it comes off. It's like it's raunchy, but there's no real feel for it to be raunchy. Like it's just what I'm trying to say is like it has the raunchiness of a porno, but there's no porn in it.
Yeah.
So it throws me off because it's that. It's like yeah, it has like it has all that. It has all the it has the bad acting. It has
Mhm.
a character named Neutered Man, and and he's all aggressive. And to me, that like cracks me up. Like, why is there a guy named Neuterman and it's because it's part of it's a villain, It's like
Or A
it's
cup,
supposed A cup,
like,
A cup, like a small boobs.
yeah.
But it shows you. I just think the fact that you can play with anything like that, they're messing like just the fact that the producers like a slime boss, and there's people like that, like I'll pay you next week or and it's when I lived in LA, I remember I saw like dudes in suits trying to portray that kind of character, and I was like, this is like the last person I want to be. Why would you want to be this guy? But it just kind of feels like they have a power or they're in control. So it kind of shows you a little bit in Orgasmo how people are very manipulative, and it shows you at first hand like they're just making fun of the industry. They're like backhandedly making fun of the industry, and I think the industry is catching on to it as because like you said they rated it NC-17, and there's no reason why it should have been rated that. They rated it that so other people couldn't watch it. Like that kind of movie for a 13-year-old. Like it's pretty impactful, as in the fact of like just being able to be rebellious or talk back.
Yeah.
Learning a little bit of identity. I can see why they would do that. Basketball, on the other hand, it looks like it's like a child's movie where people could just throw it in there and be like, "Oh, it's just a goofy movie," you know. But it's deep too, Orgasmo. I mean, Orgasmo to the extent of like, okay, it's got me questioning how good this movie really is, because it's I see, like I said, like it's their, I want to say is Orgasmo their very first work they did.
No, it's going to be Cannibal the Musical is their uh, first.
That's the first thing that Trey Parker
Yeah,
and Meso did, and they met in college, right?
I believe so. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
see here. Now, yeah, let's click on Trey Parker. I haven't pulled up on Wikipedia. Yeah, Cannibal the Musical is the first one.
yeah. The Spirit of
Career
Christmas.
be-
I think that was the short they made where it's Cartman. It's the yeah they got
yeah.
the yeah 1992 1992 they had American History. I remember the writer, and then Cannibal the screenplay was I guess their first movie, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's their first. Oh God, I've never seen this movie.
Me neither.
I
And
want to. Now we got. So I got something to watch on the side. I've never seen this movie. What is? Yeah, Trey
oh,
Parker. Trey Parker. I like, and in anything, as myself being a filmmaker, it was also called. It was called Alfred Packer the musical was the original title.
hmm,
uh, but I'll say that when you start working with like the same people you work with, and it shows like, and the cast from Orgasmo, there's a little bit of characters that cross over into basketball, and I think that that's just part of like who you work with, and people that actually show up, and it's hard to find reliable talent and reliable people in this industry, and I like that they keep I'm talking about what's his name, he's Ben actually in Orgasmo, but he's Squeak in his name Diane. Oh man,
yeah, I know. I have no clue on this one,
Diane.
buddy.
I'm gonna butcher. That's
We'll
a
just say Diane. Why not?
Diane is Diane Bakar.
Oh,
Uh,
here we can look them up on. I think it has phonetical on
my hooked on
on
phonics
Wikipedia.
is gonna hook me up. Now his
Oh, I
character.
have no idea how to read that. Look it
Uh,
up on Wikipedia and then see if you can decipher that shit. But he's from Colorado as well.
he's from Colorado. Yeah,
Yeah.
Diane. I think that's how I'd say it.
Squeak a little bit, Scolari.
Like they keep
Dude,
it
that
like
is, oh, yes.
that. So I'm pretty sure he's part of the crew too, man. Like he's one of the original actors, or just a friend of theirs. Um, he's born in Denver, Colorado. Another guy. Um, I'll say that him in Orgasmo, his character is just like let loose, man. He's got all this confidence.
Yeah.
Because he's like a badass, like
Well, and without his character, dude, you wouldn't have that subplot of him actually becoming Orgasmo, like a real superhero, because he's the one who builds
the gun,
um the yeah,
the ray
or
gun.
what's it called? Orgasmerator or something like that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
forget.
dude, crazy names. But yeah, dude, like I thought that was cool, like how it was subtle, but it made sense. Like it wasn't the it wasn't like the most held together plot or anything like that. But it all made sense, dude. Like that's what I liked about it. It didn't just like jump from like, all right, now we have this. Like it had some consistency to it. And I enjoyed that. Like this was a good movie as far as I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie again because like basketball, man, I love quoting basketball.
Oh, dude.
Like one of my favorites is like, hey picker, hey pig fucker. Can I call you pig fucker? No, only
No,
my
my
friends can
friends
go.
call me pig fucker. Yeah, well, let's. I mean, I think the fact that like this this is one of those occasions where I did watch the second one or the first movie first, and going back and watching like a prequel kind of thing of them, and
Mhm.
now watching was a Cannonball the musical. Like I want to watch that now, and I'll say that with Orgasmo, um, oh, man, it's it's kind of got like that little film, that like grindy filmy, like kind of stay aged. It's kind of aged well. What I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
and watching it's not hard to stick with. The story is not strong at all. This is a fun ride. This is a goofy little laugh your ass off ride. The story, the plot on both these movies
Yeah.
is not strong at
Oh,
all.
dude, basketball is almost
It's
yeah.
more
Orgasmo has a better story plot move
I
along than basketball does. I feel.
think, and then like they got Ron Jeremy. He plays this guy
Yep.
Clark. He's in it, and it's like, of course, especially for the time you got, because I mean, Ron Jeremy was he was only big in what do you call it, in the 70s, I guess, when he was younger, and then he kind of just stayed in Hollywood. Apparently, he's gotten in trouble right now. He's in jail. I think that's where he's gonna rob or
Oh,
something. I think he did something with a young girl or something. I don't know. I don't know too much, but I know he got arrested for something bad. So I
you
know.
know, what was bad though is one of the girls that was I think in the first scene whenever he first shows up, uh, Joe does. She looked familiar, and I was like, "What other movies has she been in?" And I like clicked on her IMDb, and there were no other movies that she had been in. And I was like, "Oh, I must know her from something else." And it just kind of clicked. I was like, "Oh, maybe I okay, that
Hey,
makes sense."
I think
Like it was one of those like, "Oh, okay, so she's a porn star, and they actually got her in that movie." Like it makes total sense that you would have that. It just like didn't even dawn on me first. I was like, "Oh, okay, I've seen her in other movies."
no, yeah, dude.
Like
Yeah, I mean, the mind can remember a lot of things. Right? Even it's just like, wait a minute, have I had a conversation with you?
like, yeah, looks
Oh.
really familiar, like but
Hey, hey,
yeah,
at least they had quality and talent at that
yeah,
the people they
exactly.
brought in. I mean, even like that to make a movie. I don't know exactly how they got the money for Orgasmo, but it seems like it was a movie that was trying to be swept under the rug,
Yeah.
and they couldn't do it, or they I just kind of accept it seeped through. But
Let's see here.
let's see,
Production companies Avenging Conscience. Dude, that has to be.
Chota
So
Brothers.
I click on that and it directs me to South Park. So that's interesting.
Hmm. I guess this is all they're trying
Uh,
to get us going. I mean, even here for like the Wikipedia for Orgasmo, it's got like one, two, three, four, five paragraphs, which is like I would think a lot, but
yeah.
it's a simple movie, and basically a guy doing a service to make money, and it still has it here NC-17. Wow, it's still rated as that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe that's what it was, but no, it's not. This is not NC 10. Okay, so now we're talking about rating. So this is a good, I guess, topic to kind of talk about with South Park and Matt and Trey. Um, I need to find out what they thought about this. What did they think about getting an NC-17 rating? Because by far, I can think of like, I mean, and for getting Sarah Marshalls, they have a crotch shot of Jason Segel. Was that an NC-17
Yeah.
movie? Like,
No.
like.
But you didn't see any swinging dicks in this movie. Let's just be fair.
No, yeah, you did. I mean, even that movie got me. Like, I was like, oh, what? I don't want to see. What? And it's like they show you, and you're like, what's the point? What's the point in all that? But whatever. I guess it's a gag that they get on the viewer. You're like, hey, you're watching one of our movies. Get ready. Um, I just think, yeah, I think that's what he did. I think this is what makes Trey Parker and Matt Stone stick out, because they're one of the first two to really, where Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino probably stretched that horror, that independent horrorness of these guys did the comedy part of it, and they really wanted to go, because I want to say I kind of, as a growing up watching these guys, I kind of got a lot of my I guess my rebuttals, or my comebacks. I got them from just being a smart ass from watching guys like this interact.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked anyway, so might as well just see if I get some jabs in there. And then you start learning stuff like the Louis Anderson technique of just making people laugh their ass off, and they won't beat you up. The pick on
Yeah.
the next. And it's cool though, but like, you do get this. I think when I watch, I mean, when just watching people interact these days, I always feel like people think they're in a movie. They always have to get the last say, or the last laugh, and it's like, it's not even worth it. Sometimes people go down so low just they say the last and I'll just throw something that doesn't even make sense. Monkey fart. They're like, what? Like, yeah, exactly. You're pulling a monkey fart right now. Like, I don't even know what that is. I'm just throwing it out there because I don't want to deal with this anymore. Why are we having this conversation? And
Yeah.
I think that's what these guys really show um, with Orgasmo. I like the fact that it's a movie about they're making a movie about a superhero, and then the superhero comes to life, and
Yeah.
so there's like a little plot there. I mean, there is obviously a plot, but there is some kind of I guess I don't know, story that's in there.
Well, and I think Trey Parker's he's a master at weaving in stuff. He really is because to do South Park and to write that stuff. I mean, they have multiple plots in a 22-minute show. Yeah, but it's about little kids and stuff like that. Still, it would be a little bit easier, but they can cover multiple things in that little short of time. Just to kind of go back to what you were saying earlier, I was looking at what they thought about the NC-17 rating. Um, it caused a limited release in the U.S. because of that. There's an unrated version that was released two-sided DVD set along with the theatrical version. It runs 2 minutes shorter than the original 94-minute release. Interesting. Then critical reception. Da, 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 da. It really, I'm not worried about the critical reception. At the very end of that, though, it says it's been deemed a cult film, mostly by fans of South Park, which creators Trey and Matt subsequently released to critical acclaim. Its reception and rating by the MPAA is discussed in the 2000 documentary This Film Is Not Yet Rated. So I kind of want to check that out and see, kind of why. It's not hard to figure out why it was rated that way. Like you said, I mean, it's exposing stuff that probably a lot of people in Hollywood didn't want people to see. And speaking of Hollywood, man, that opening scene where it had the Hollywood sign and then right underneath it said Hollywood, like I thought, dude, that shit cracked me up. Just like right off the bat, I was like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, man. Like I said, I had a friend of mine. He's been begging me to watch this movie for years, and he was telling me about the man song. He's like, "There's a man," some he's talking about the girl with big titties. He's like, no, it's the titties. Like he'd always say that. But dude, yeah, this movie is really good. I'll tell you, a lot of my notes are just like referencing scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's go through them.
Yes.
I mean, I right off the bat, you're right. The Hollywood. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just telling you that they're joking. They're taking the joke and they're joking with it. Like you said right off the bat. Like, okay, so we're going. It's movies about luck, and being like at the right place at the right time, I guess, and just how
Mhm.
people can take advantage of you because he plays a good old boy. He's not from this world and he's getting thrusted in there, but they're working with him. They're
Mhm.
letting him kind of be part of it because they got the stunt cock that comes in and then
Stunt cock.
and then
Like
he switches,
I thought that was hilarious.
he switches the black guys like okay, whatever,
Yeah,
like
he's like, you don't see a problem with this? No. He's like, okay. Which I think there's something to be said there too. Like it's like, no, I don't see a problem with that. Uh, but man, even yeah, dude, like whenever they're first knocking on doors, first off, elder young, like how funny is that?
oh.
Like, you know, I think that's pretty funny right there. But whenever they come up to that old lady, she's like, "Oh, the Mormons," she's just like seeing all interested, and it's like, "Oh, you have a lovely garden back there, man. Oh, thank you, thank you." They go on about it's like, "Well, you can fuck right off." Like, honestly, that just kind of reminded me of that scene in Blazing Saddles where
Yeah.
you know uh, they have that old lady do that in there too. Um, dude, Matt Stone's character I
How the
thought was hilarious, dude. Like,
how,
just you
how
know,
how how do you take a character and give him simple, but not even impactful. Just simple, stupid lines. But he's like
And
he repeats himself. But it's like
yeah,
hey, I don't mean to sound queer, but I'd lick your butt. Like it's just
yeah.
he
Well,
did
dude, and it starts off like he's like, I don't want to sound queer, but I think unicorns should kick ass. You know, like you're like, okay, and then just like the further you go, he's like, I think we should make love tonight. You know,
he does that.
in the very end, he's like, I don't want to be queer or nothing, but I think that fire is really romantic. He's just like, yeah, this shit is hilarious, dude.
He
Like
is
it's the simple stuff. It really is, and that's where they, yeah, that's in all the stuff that they have. I feel like is they just pick up on that simple, like just stupid, like okay, I don't know. It's just you like I said. That's why I think this David Zucker film, Basketball, like it really feels like Matt and Trey because I feel like that's where they got a lot of influence from. You know,
yeah.
growing up and watching Airplane, dude, you're gonna see goofy stuff like that, and then you can kind of make it your own. I feel like a lot of the Wayne's Brothers movies are kind of like that
Dude,
too. I
they're
mean,
stretched, man.
Don't Be a
Uh,
Menace. I mean, they take one thing and then, like you said, they stretch it out and just pick at it until they just like get all the comedy out of it. They're like, okay, this is funny. This is funny, and
I mean,
yeah,
to me that resonates a lot with me because stereotypes they exist for a reason, but at the same time, we don't need them. But at the same time, kind of help you communicate. I don't. So what I'm trying to say is, being offended and falling into stereotype trends, it's gonna happen.
yeah,
And so, and a lot of times you don't mean to be like that, but if you're that's like that's the way I say things. I'm like, if you say something and it's like I used the word, I said the word, I didn't use the word. So anything like the stunt cock, it's like, oh, you believe in that? It's like, no, I didn't. I just they said in the movie, I'm repeating it. It's like
yeah,
I said the word, but I didn't use the word. Like, so it's not like I'm trying to offend people. And with what I get from Orgasmo, I get that a lot. Like it's a playful movie. Like they're making fun of it. They're spinning it upside down. This is one of the first movies showing you behind the. I mean, they always show you behind the scenes, kind of, but they're really like, no, like f you. We're the little guys. Like, why don't we get a shot? Why don't we get the, like, we're the creativity. We're the people, and you guys want to like be above, like hold us down or something. I feel like the movie's a rebellious movie. Like, and I feel like it tiptoes all the way to like, I get tiptoes like it doesn't really ever cross the line on anything, and I feel like it does tiptoe. Like I feel like what they're showing now with like the girls like talking. I don't know what's it called, like that Jennifer Lopez movie that came out, whatever Hustler or something. I feel like that preview to that movie was more offensive than the whole Orgasmo movie. Like because it's like they're showing like women like it's exploiting sex, and that's what Orgasmo is doing. They make fun of stuff like that. I mean, you even get to hear the voice. I think Mr. Garrison voice comes out as the T
T-Rex.
Rex. T Rex,
Oh,
yeah.
was it? It may have been, but yeah, I just thought that was like yeah, it was definitely
Yeah,
Matt Trey. Oh
Trey,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I like that he leaves his little marks like that in his movies, but
yeah.
I also want to say that maybe this is what the thing that pissed him off, that made him even go even further. Because what
No,
if it did just get a PG-13 rating, and everything was fine with it, and it went through the market because that someone tells me no and I still have to go through it, then it's like, well, wait, why did no, it's like no matter what you do, you're gonna lose. And I think that's what he likes. Like, he's like, I'm still winning, but I may have lost this battle, but I'm not losing the war. So I get
yeah.
that a lot. I mean, Orgasmo, I don't really, if I have to watch it a little bit more, the Matt Stone, what's his name's even his name's even silly.
It's
It's the
Dave, the lighting
the
guy.
lighting guy, yeah. Hey, he's like, oh, it's hot, so hot. Let's take a photo. Hey, like he's that
Dave.
perfect. He's that perfect guy. There's guys like that on movie sets, and I think it's just jobs too and work. And you have this, the awkward guy. You have the why are you the awkward guy? This the guy that just kind of they get the job done, but they just do their own thing.
Oblivious, oblivious.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the other this guy. Um, Man, I have my notes for Orgasmo. I have I'll be honest with you, I don't have any notes for basketball, but because when we get to ratings, you'll definitely find out why I don't need any. Because,
I
so
feel
I'm
like
not
we got another 13 on our hands.
probably 15 if we allow it. But like just to see for Orgasmo. I mean, I thought the G Fresh character for what he comes out. If you're offended by that, there's what are you getting offended by?
Yeah.
Like he's very PC offensive.
Well, and it's almost like they're asking you to be offended too. It's like, you're gonna get mad about that, kind of thing. Like it's almost like you're gonna get mad.
Yeah, you're
All
here
right,
to
all right.
but the,
Tell me what you're mad about. Why does that offend you? It's like a
it's
conversation
like a
starter that they know that they're gonna win. You know.
it's like a trap too. I feel like it's a trap.
Yeah.
I feel like they're like, you come on, it's a trap right here because he comes out of nowhere and he's part of the main plot. He's the reason
Yeah.
why they do what they do and they become
And also,
superheroes.
spoilers.
Yeah,
It's how you
that's
figure
right.
out. It's how you figure out that Max Orbison is the bad guy.
Yeah,
And you kind of know that from the beginning,
listen,
but you don't have that connection. It's like everything is connected. And you know what is kind of funny? Like I wrote down on my notes at the whenever they were at the club, uh, going to beat up like the thugs that beat up G Fresh. I was like, that looks like the bouncer from the very beginning. The security guard from the very beginning. I was like, is that the same guy? And then you see him again at Orbison's house.
oh, that's right,
It's
that's right.
like it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, this guy works for him, and he just goes to different places, and he's a terrible security guard because he gets his ass whooped all the time. But
I,
anyway,
I will say there's another name, Max, but this one he spells it MAXX Orbison.
yep.
Character is played by Michael Dean Jacobs, which I'm just finding out right now, sadly, passed away September 11th, 2020. He was 61. He
Yeah.
was in the Las Vegas, Nevada. He just passed away, it's sad. He does play a nice sleazeball. He is a good, well-rounded. He's two villains, I guess. He was the villain on the producer set, and he's actually the mob boss.
Mhm.
He does a good job, like, kind of doing that dual role kind of thing. But he's the same guy. He's not really
Yeah.
two different people. He's the same guy, but as a character, he holds two powers.
Well, and
Uh,
I thought another cool, kind of thing was it all came together too at the very end where he becomes the villain, neutered man, from the film,
that's
from the
right.
second film.
But yeah,
And dude, like I think that's very clever writing. It's very, you know, like I said, I put in my notes like, oh, they left room for a sequel, but there was never going to be a sequel, man. Like I think that's
but they're writing the sequel in the movie.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a cool
exactly.
thing. He kind of there's a point where you realize you're in the movie itself, and they're making the movie. And then what was I gonna say about that? Like that's artistic right there. That's already a letter. Like that's creativity. I think the
Mhm.
fact that they're working on a low budget and it was the '90s, which is still kind of hard to like kind of figure out how to do this. I think they figured out a way. I mean, it's made good. It's edited well. It's on the lower end. It does have an independent film
You
but
still have shots. It's not just like a
yeah,
tripod or something like that. You still have that
when they
that
started
aspect to it.
when they started printing out the Orgasmo VHSs, instantly brought me back to Clerks, and I was like, yes, independent movie. This is where it's at. This is how this got started. And man, Kevin Smith, love that guy, dude. Like I've been following since I've always liked him, but ever since we've done the side by side, like I've really been following him. But he's part of the internet, so he's like,
Yeah.
he's there. I like the John Holmes Award he won. He got real popular and like in this world and I thought maybe the fact that maybe not just the '90s but how it's like easy to kind of like back then he was like hide it from his fiance
Mhm.
until she found out and it was just because it's like it's a porno and I like that scene. It shows like Jurassic Park, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then Orgasmo is number 3 and he only made like 20 grand and he's making double 40 grand. Like that's nothing of all the money you're making. um
Yeah, right.
yeah, and then
And
yeah, and even when T Rex is on him, he has to find Joe has to go to his happy place. Like he has like a
yeah,
happy place because it's like he's willing to be like he'll do it for the money. He's like a prostitute himself. He's like a whore. He's only doing it for the money.
yep.
So uh, yeah, there's oh god. So I don't know if you the mariachi.
Yes, I have that written down. The Naked
Do,
Mariachi Band.
do you know what they are saying?
No, what do they say?
They're speaking Spanish, and the song they're singing is so hilarious. He says, "Mi verga está chiquita y fea." Alguien todos saben. So basically, he's saying, "I have a little a little penis, and it's ugly, and everybody knows." It's like, but he's singing in a mariachi song. So I'm wondering, did Trey Parker write this song, or did he write it in English and have somebody? It's because it's perfect. The song comes out perfect, and I'm like, what did he? What? How did he do this? Or, but it's funny. He's like, "Tengo verga chiquito, y está feo y todos saben." Like, it's just like I started losing it. And then he shows the back. It shows their ass. He shows the
Yeah.
backside of, it, and he shows their ass. Like what? Like it's. It reminds me of the Idiocracy where he says the movie was named Ass and it won best screenplay. You know, I think it's like one of those early foreshadowings of the future, where
Yeah.
he's all right, we're maybe just making fun of you, but the cable guy with the Matt Stone, yeah, what you think about the Mexican band? Yeah, they reminded me of Depeche Mode.
I was so queer or nothing, but I think Depeche Mode is it's a really good band.
There's that guy, man, in the group. I ain't gay, but I'd kiss that man, but I ain't gay, or
Yeah.
like in my world, I always explain it with if I was gay, I would have kissed you by now. So shut up. It's like, you're lucky I'm not gay. I would have kissed you. Like it's even like that. What I'm just saying right now, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying something silly. Just because I hang out with gay dudes all day. That's why I think it's funny. Let's see. What else did we get here? I thought I did have that stunt cock comes out a few times because it's kind of like a funny thing to think about on a movie set. You have that you're like a what's your title? I'm a stunt cock.
Yeah.
I come in and
Stunt cock.
I do the deal. Yeah.
Oh, what is it? One of the stunt cocks, he's always like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" He just like he gets at it. How you doing?
I thought his when it was Neuter Man the character with the nephew where he goes like fuck you or sorry I cussed at him he goes F you or he says everyone that says hi to him he tells them off. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to I myself am trying not to cuss.
Oh yeah.
Me and my I got the 2-year-old. I don't want to be cussing around him.
Sorry, I'll just do it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dude, one thing that got me is whenever Lisa first comes to LA and she says something to him and he said, "Don't quote Dickens in my house."
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, Ben is like, "God bless us, everyone." And I just thought that was so damn funny that they brought that around. Because, dude, they even have a South Park episode where it's like based off of Great Expectations.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was funny. I can't even remember what she said to.
Oh yeah, no, they're arguing. She did say because that caught me. I forgot what she said, but that word I was like, oh, it's goofy. He said
"Don't quote Dickens in my house."
he's like, and to me, I saw that as like he's being more assertive now. Like he's starting to change a little. Like the character changed a little bit. There's really I looked up at this movie. Both these movies were filmed in L.A. This one's definitely filmed in Hollywood. So I like that it has like that Hollywood feel to it that kind of exposes it. Let's see what I have here. The name change, the classic. Oh, yeah, that's with the classic films. What else I got? even Ben, Diane. He says I couldn't have been scripted any better. Well, that part he calls it out like, well, yeah, that part. Like he's making fun of the fact that they wrote a nice dialogue in this movie in a script, and then he calls himself out, and then he calls himself out again, like no one has ever written a piece of script. Well, until that part, like it's like I like that there's playfulness. He kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. What else we got?
Oh, the "Give me a sign, Lord," and he has that earthquake. It's like anything at all. What about DVDA?
Wait, was it that? That's the
double vaginal, double.
Yes,
anal.
the old lady. Like you my business. You got to do there. I like that part because he's even trying to be like, oh, you want to talk about the book? Okay, and it's like that's his part where he's like, I could educate you in here, and really it's just her turning it and turning into her own thing, and it's gross. At my age, you got to do double, and then he's watching the scene and he gets grossed out, and then when Chada Boy shows up,
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, it's a new one. Like,
Oh,
it's like,
DVDA.
dude, freaking Matt Stone's haircut is so stupid. Like the mullet, the mustache, like he has like the peach fuzz mustache, and I think he kind of
Dude,
like the peach fuzz eyebrows. And
yeah. You know who he reminds me of is that guy off of Workaholics, like that. You know who I'm talking about, like the curly
yeah,
headed one. That's like
Blake,
he had
yeah,
Blake. Yes, thank you. Yeah, dude. That he and then what is it? Ben in the movie, man. He's like, oh, I don't do hamster style kung fu anymore. And it's just like the breakaway of like him talking to his dad. He's like, I don't think I'm gonna do hamster style anymore.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice.
That's right. Yeah, his dad just like that was just it. That was it. His dad just
Yeah.
said, okay. There was no like
And
that was
then
his his.
you see Trey's like, that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like,
I thought once they started going around doing the montage of them shooting the actual orgasmo, oh shoots, it hits the cop and he starts getting into it, kisses the guy, but then when it hits Matt Stone's character, he like gets off real quick and he gets back to normal. Like it's just
yeah,
like
dude.
it's like a normal thing for him. Like he just does it on its own.
He's
Like
just right back to it.
he just goes back, yeah, like he gets
Uh,
up. He's like, okay, like it's like yeah, because everyone's like having like a 10 seconds, like 10-15 second compulsions, and they're like can't hold it, and he's right away. He just goes straight to it.
oh man. What was it? Oh, I have anytime that somebody says Jesus around Trey Park or I guess Joe. I keep on doing that. Anytime we'll say his character's name. Anytime anybody says Jesus around Joe, he's like, where? And I
That's
don't
right.
know,
That's right.
dude, I just always, like I said, it's just the little stuff, man, that always gets me with these movies. Let's see here. Oh, and then A Cup farting in his hand, and then just
Yeah,
like that. He's like, oh, like
that's his name, right? As the character, A Cup is his name, right?
yeah.
Because he's neutered man is the character of
Mm.
okay, David
And
Dunn
that's
is his name.
and then Max is his uncle.
Yeah, it's his
He's like,
uncle.
oh, I think he even says Uncle Orbison or something like that. He doesn't even call him
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Uncle Max.
yeah. He says it there when he breaks up the fight because he punches Joe, and also his
Hmm.
name's Joe in both movies. So
Oh, that's right, Joe Cooper.
Joe Cooper, Joe, and
That's
I like
right.
I like that Cooper. Like his middle name is
Yeah, this is Cooper you're talking about.
yeah, Cooper.
Uh,
Yeah, Joe Cooper. I mean, just the transition for both these movies that Orgasmo is making fun of the movie industry, where Basketball is making fun of the sports industry, and they
yeah.
both fall under entertainment, and they both do this like I don't know, they do it very, I think it's classy, or at least class. There's some kind of like style to it. It's not just like going up there and doing something like they took something raunchy and they spun it. That's what he's known for doing. He took the Book of Mormons, and that's like a religious
Mhm.
background, and he spun it. What do you think is A Cups? To me, I just see him as like a pain in the ass being on set, because those characters, those people do exist. But what do you think? Like, what do you think A Cup's like main like purpose behind his character? Because it's just like, to me, he also reminds me of Superman 3, like the son. What's his name? The son, the villain. Sorry, the like I don't know if you've seen Superman 3, the one with your,
Is that the one with Richard Pryor?
yeah, where they
I
throw the
saw it. I saw it once, man. And
well,
yeah.
they throw the nuclear. It's like probably like it's like an alter ego of or a bizarro version of Superman. So I feel
Uh-huh.
like he's a bizarro version of Orgasmo.
Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe. That's what I was trying to get into. But also at the same time and this is what I'm happy we did this movie, because when I watched it a couple months ago, I just was like, is Trey Parker really doing karate? Is he really? Because he does a lot of kicks, man. There's a part where he does a roundhouse and he does it legit. Like, I'm like, does this guy really know how to do that? Sorry. It throws me off, man.
He may, man. He
That's,
seemed like he was a little bit more fit in Orgasmo than he was in basketball. I mean, not to give him shit or anything, but it looks like he kind of has a gut in basketball.
Well, I think that
Whereas,
this character was supposed to like be out of shape.
and it makes sense. You know, like, yeah, I like basketball, but I don't want to do all the dribbling and running and shit.
Yeah, that's
You
yeah.
know?
There's a that reminded me of a friend of mine that's a lot of it was my cousin's my older cousin's friend actually, and he would go he'd shoot a lot in basketball. So I was playing him. He would just shoot and he'd make it, but then he'd be like, "Well, he can't do anything else. He can't dribble. He can't pass. He gets the ball, he'll shoot it, and he'll make it. But and then it's like, yeah, you can't really you take away all those elements, you kind of suck at the at the game." Um, what was I think? I mean, I honestly think they. It's. I really want to know. Are they? Is he fighting? Does he know this stuff? Does he? Does he
I'm
really?
sure.
Does he
I'm
really
sure
know
he
how to do?
does.
I mean, it looks
'Cause-
legit. The very first scene where he fights the guys outside of the mansion, like that, those kicks, the fighting, like it looks like he really knows what he's doing. I'm like, I mean, I put Orgasm on real quick, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, yeah, dude, he really he knows how to throw a punch, he knows how to throw a kick. It's the kicks because they're very very like I do karate in the park, you know, and he knows
yeah,
what he's doing, and it makes me wonder: did he practice when he was younger, or did he just do it for this movie role? Like he's legitimately fighting, you know.
yeah,
And then they're long shots. I think maybe he's just showing off his range in a way. Like he's showing that look how I can kick, look what I can do. The Joe Cooper character, I believe, is supposed to be out of shape, where it shows you like the average Joe guy. Where this
yeah,
guy is just like I mean he makes them. I mean we don't I don't know a whole lot about Mormons, and it does make it seem like you're always riding a bike. You could be in shape. They go on these
yeah.
missions. They could learn how to fight. You know, so it's like they could learn things. And I mean, man, that's crazy. Was he like I found out with Wes Craven? He was raised very religious, and that helped them turn a lot of stuff into horror because of that. Was is Trey Parker Jewish, or was he raised around religion?
I think if I think it's Matt Stone who's Jewish.
Okay.
I
Oh, he
would
plays
think
Kyle. That's
because
right.
yeah,
He's
he
Kyle.
plays kind of. Let's see here.
They've made South Park so strong that we can't like not step away from it. Like I've I gotta say, and I really get upset when I hear someone not really get upset, not like get offended. I just get like really when they say South Park has lost like their touch. I'm like, I don't know, they really lost their touch. It's just they're you go, but I mean,
Justin,
yeah, they're just
you
and even
know they
like Simpsons, man. Like I don't know, we don't know where the hell they're at. You know, like they're just alive. Like Simpsons is like a real person. Like Simpsons is almost old as I am, and South Park is just
it is old. It's a year older than I am.
yeah.
The
See,
Simpsons.
and South Park is 20. You know,
Yeah,
and so to me with like they've been able to keep their content going. I think it's just they're able to fight even with the election stuff that's happening all this whole past 4 years. Like I got switched off to a lot of late night television, a lot of like stand up, and because it was just kind of like people were just bringing up the same stuff. But even when they do it on South Park, they're like, man, we can't even make up this, we can't even write this stuff. We're regurgitating what you guys are doing, you know. And to me, like I like the way they have South Park. They even have the whole they compare themselves to Family Guy and Simpsons, and they
hmm
really and it really that to that point it made me understand the novelty of Family Guy. Like it's child humor in a way. I'm not going to
yeah,
deny Family Guy because I'm one of the people that bought the DVDs. That when they brought it back, I contributed to that. So I really do. I like Family Guy to an extent, but I mean, I'm not saying I'm not bashing it, but it is very repetitive. There's no growth.
yeah. And the difference with Family Guy is what was unique about them is the cutaways. You know, they would just be like, remember that time that and it was just like they did in South Park. You know, it was like they would have that memory, kind of set aside, and you'd watch that little deal, and it just like kind of cut the show up, but it flowed well. You know, it was like, yeah, I thought that was always a cool thing about Family Guy. Now the Simpsons and South Park, man, they don't do that near as much, like that whole like cutaway gag to where you see that
Oh no,
whole scene play out. And
that
and yeah,
no, that's what you're saying. That's a
was that?
you're gonna
Oh
say something.
no,
I
no,
was just
no.
gonna say Simpsons. That I mean, Family Guy. That's their bread and butter is a cutaway.
Yeah,
They do cutaway so much. Like now, every season they make fun of themselves for doing cutaway so much.
hmm
Like that's the kind of where they're at. Um, South Park, on the other hand, still does. I love that they did the Comedy Central aspect opposed to going with the bigger. companies. They went with the company that let them do whatever they wanted, give them less money, but let them have free range, which is smart.
Yeah.
Because then you'll never get your original idea out. That's the reason you're there.
And they probably are a big reason why Comedy Central is still around and still relevant today. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean they took it, you know, they took off, man. You know, I whenever South Park did turn 20 years old, Loot Crate had a box that they sent out, and it was like South Park 20. And I have like a Kenny hoodie, and it flips inside out. It's Mysterio as well. You
Oh, cool.
know, like uh, I have like a little Cartman figurine. I think it possibly no. I have Clyde Frog. That's who it is.
Clap
Cartman's
rap,
little
clap
Clyde
rap,
Frog.
clap rap.
Wild Wild West. Yeah, Wild Wild West. Um, but yeah, dude, like South Park. I remember I watched the Scott Tederman Must Die episode. That was probably the first episode I watched of South Park, and I remember I was probably like 10, 11. I don't know. Yeah, probably around that age. And I watched it, and I was like, okay, yeah, there's a reason my parents haven't let me watch this show yet. You know, and it took me a while to watch South Park again. It really did. Like I had to step away from it for a little while and just kind of like uh, get everything together. And then I used to go and visit my sister down in South Texas every summer, right? And
Yeah.
so she would go to work during the day, and I would just be at home. And so we would go to the store and we'd rent movies, and like uh, I got like Zoolander and something else. I can't remember what it was, but we got like a whole bunch of South Park episodes. Like they had them uh, able to rent. It was just like random ones. It wasn't like a season or anything.
Yeah.
And so I'd watch those. And like I saw the Succubus episode with Chef, and just other stuff. And that's where like my love for South Park really started to get going. I don't think I really started watching it like on the regular and keeping up with it until oh gosh, probably like season 11 or 12. Like
Yeah.
it was a while before I was like able to watch it on the regular.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying because
Yeah.
I watched it. The paper animation from season 1, season 2 is bad, but it's a big jump. After season, I believe 3, it gets really good, and it
Mhm.
kind of just progresses a little bit better. But I'll say that, man, I didn't get it at first. I was still a little too young really to understand it. But I just remember I had to stick with it. So I remember watching every season of South Park. 'Cause I even had the Super Nintendo game, the holidays game there with the turkey.
You talking about where they throw snowballs and stuff?
Yeah, I had that game. I beat that game. That game was really really fun and entertaining. That is a very entertaining game. But I'll say that it wasn't until like I want to say you're right about season 10 where everything started clicking in my head and I started understanding more. I liked the spontaneous things. Like I liked the Stan Marsh character a lot. Like your dad, like he's like, oh, no time to explain, just always punching people and thinking like the Lord of the Rings one is that trilogy that those movies like it also shows these guys are nerds. Like
Mhm.
I feel comfortable with these guys because they kind of hit a lot of the stuff that I'm into sports. I like theater. I like the nerd stuff, the geek stuff, the comedy. Like these guys, I mean, South Park really they it's a satire, man. They're making fun of us. They're making fun of and if you're like anything that offends you, if you get offended, you're the thing.
Yeah.
You're that's what you're. If you if you anything like if it's like man they're making fun of smelly feet and I'm like man that's so stupid why do people make fun of his feet like it's like well because I got smelly feet that's why I get offended but if you learn to take it and be like oh crap I'm not the only one but let me work on that or just say hey I'm not the only one and that's it doesn't matter but I think that's the thing about it man I have basketball playing right now and we're about to sink into it and I just man
Let's jump into it, dude. Let's do it.
because there what else is there anything you want to bring talk before we move on or Orgasmo
Or
because there are a lot of things that we haven't really passed on, but I'll say that with
I am
Orgasmo,
Sancho.
yes, and he gets the job. Like
Yeah.
he gets hired. I mean, for the most part, I didn't even pay attention that I picked up. I put in South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and it was in 1999. It came out in the summer of
Yeah.
June 30th. So that means that they did. They once they got started, they got started. Orgasmo's 97, Baseball's 90.
Excuse me.
Salud, salud. Orgasmo's 97, Baseball's 98, and South Park Uncut is 99.
Yeah.
So it's like
And
they
then
made.
what Team America was like 2001.
I think 2001. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's 2001.
That is as far as like their movies. I think that was the last like movie that they had that was
Yeah.
really, you know, like I'll look it up.
Did they make any movies after that? I don't think they.
I don't think so, man. And
Did
you know
they-
what's that?
I mean, they now what I'm also studying about creating a universe and seeing what you're doing, and these guys have done animation, movies, they've done stage, they've done video games. They're all over the place, man. These guys, they really are. I mean, their bread and butter is going to be South Park.
Yeah, and I think that's what they stuck to. Yeah, I don't see.
I mean, I don't know if Trey Parker likes to act or if they like to come out a lot, because I think they stuck really with the animation, and it only takes them 1 week to do a South Park episode.
Yeah, well, up until this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Actually, Team America was 2004,
There
so
you go.
they had a little while in between there. But I think what it is like, if I had to guess, man, those two seem like they're pretty laid back. You know, they have a lot on their plate with just South Park. I mean, there's video games, there's all this other stuff that comes with it too. You know, and like you said, I mean, hell, they also have a play. Let's not discount that as well. I mean, that takes a lot of time, and it travels all over the U.S. and probably in other parts of the world too.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's really
They have a lot. Yeah, they have a lot on their plate. So I imagine that's one reason. And you know, another thing too is like, why would they want to continue feeding Hollywood if they just see it as like a soul sucking thing anyway? You know, that'd be my guess. I mean, they feed into the TV and they can reach a lot more viewers that way. You don't have, like I said, you don't have a lot of restrictions with Comedy Central, I'm sure, and you don't have to worry about ratings.
yeah.
But the only thing is, man, like you figure, like I said, I mean, with Team America and all that stuff, I mean, anything they touch is gold now.
Yeah, man. No, they really iron it out. I mean,
Yeah.
even watching them how they do South Park, and they talk about like when they're doing an episode, like they're on it, man. They're like, they'll tell you we're not Family Guy. That's Family Guy's material. Like they're honest, but they're churning. Like I like seeing that. I like working like that too. Like let's just keep going and keep churning it. So here we are now. We hold on. Oh no, that was the movie. Sorry. That was Orgasmo, and as we move on to basketball, I would like to say that I'm reading. My boy, because he's in it. He's a main character, Squeak, the Ann Barcher. It says he says here attended Chatfield Senior High School. And then it said he received his BFA in film production at the University of Colorado at Boulder, where he met Matt Stone and Trey Parker. From there, he went on to star in student film Cannibal the Musical for internship credit. So that's why he was kind of, and it says he's also co-star with Parker in Orgasmo. So, it's just it's about timing, man, and being able to be available and being professional, I guess, and working on that. That being said, basketball for me, I don't know where to begin.
I'll start, if you don't mind.
No, you raise your hand. Go for it.
So, just a little quick story about basketball, man.
All right.
I had no idea what this movie was. My sister, she came home one day. She just turned 18. Like she's 4 years older than me. So I was like 14 at the time. So right around that age, man. She buys her first rated R movie, and it is this movie. All right. And we watch it, and then I am just like awestruck. Like, dude, I'm like, this is the greatest thing I have ever seen. Cut to like the next year probably, because she went off to college, right? And so I had Elf on DVD, and And it was an easy trade, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, John Favreau did an amazing job with that movie. But I traded her. I was like, you can take Elf. I'll keep basketball. And dude, I would just watch it over and over and over again. It is. It's definitely one of those movies that kind of helped shape the humor that I have for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was even I had seen episodes of South Park, but I wasn't like a religious watcher of South Park whenever I started watching basketball. Um, but I mean, it just made it even better. You know, like it made South Park better just because that humor. Like you've heard the voices before, like goddamn, like whenever he's making fun of him
He
being
does a
fat and
Cartman.
everything.
Cartman comes out of
Yeah, yeah,
basketball.
exactly, man. And so you even have Mr. Mackey in there too. Uh, or no, maybe it was Garrison. He was like, I didn't know how much you cared about kids. Doug
Oh yeah,
Reed cared about kids.
that's right.
Yeah, it was Garrison. But
Mr. Garrison.
but yeah, dude. I mean, basketball is it's it's a classic, dude. It really is. It does not it does not get the recognition it deserves. I don't think. I don't think that a lot of people. I'll ask people, is like, have you ever seen basketball? Like, that's almost a litmus test for me too. Like, if they've seen that, then okay, yeah, me and you can talk. We can talk about this at the very least. Like, oh, it's been years. I'm like, no, okay, well, you need to watch it again. That's what I say in my head. I normally don't say that out loud, but that's kind of where I'm sitting at basketball, man. Like, this is one of those, like I said, just a good go-to movie. I can put it in the background anytime. I've had it on DVD. I think I even bought it on Blu-ray whenever I was trying to build up my Blu-ray collection
Yeah.
and shit like that. So this is one of those movies too. Like, if it ever came on a streaming service like Netflix, and I was like, oh, trending today or what's new, like basketball, turn it on. I own it, but I'm still gonna play
Yeah.
it on Netflix.
It's
It's one
it's
of those
it,
movies.
it's easier to play on Netflix, but I do love DVDs.
Yeah.
No, yeah, dude. I'll just say this: with that, since we've been doing side by side, and a lot of the movies I've been trying to purchase just so I can have a DVD, or just I'm trying just to archive everything, and that's something I like doing. I got a message today from my Netflix saying it's gonna move up to like $14.99 or like $15, and I was
Really?
like, damn, man, that's kind of price. I remember when Netflix was like $7. Now you're telling me $15, but I have a lot of these movies that I enjoy. Maybe I should just keep get my set very big, and then once I get enough, and it's movies I enjoy, I'll just cut the streaming services, or cut down to just narrow them down, because I have like four
To
or
make your
five.
own Netflix is what
Yeah,
you need
there,
to
that's
do.
what I guess I'm trying to do. But there's a there's a reason I'm saying that, because I was just like, well, I mean, it's on Netflix, I believe, basketball, and you know, um,
Orgasmo is. I did
yeah,
not
yeah,
see it on basketball, but it was on Stars, and I recently got
it
Stars. So
stars.
yeah,
Yeah, I own basketball, and
same.
I own it on I bought it on the iTunes, and when it was like on sale for like $1.99, and I was like, fuck, getting it. Psh. That's like, yeah. So, uh, basketball with me, man, I got a lot of the references as a kid. I don't know if I should have got them. I was able to get a lot. Even the silver, what's her name? The Playman of the Year.
Victoria
Silver
Solstice
Slam.
Playing of the
Yeah,
Year.
I remember her. I remember seeing her on the magazine and be like, oh crap, that's the chick from Playboy. But I
I
remember.
want to think. Have you ever seen a movie called Out Cold?
Yeah, she's in it too.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she plays that. She's a Pigpen. He hits a
Yeah.
whatever. Zach Galifianakis when he was starting out. So,
Yep.
you know, uh,
And was it
Jeremy
Jeremy
London.
London?
Well,
Or
I didn't
yeah,
know he was a twin. So there's
yeah,
I think
right.
it's Jeremy and John, or I think, yeah, I think it's John's the other one name, or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher his name, but
Justin?
Justin, maybe, yeah,
Oh,
just yeah. Their birthday just passed, but I know that I saw a thing pop up. But I remember Jeremy London is the one. His name it comes out more than the other name I hear. Maybe
yeah.
Jason London. Um,
Maybe look. Let me
it
just
might
look
it
that
might be
up.
Jason. But anyways, I remember I remember
Yeah, it's Jason London.
Jason. Yeah. So
That was the one that was in Dazed and Confused. Was Jason London?
Yeah, yeah. So there, he's actually
Okay.
the cool kid, the cool guy in the high school. Dazed and Confused, and the another Austin staple. Um, I'll say that watching, I got a lot of the references. I thought it was a really good movie made. I can't remember my motive. What, like I said earlier, I can't really remember. I remember it was a sports movie. I remember going watching it. That opening scene just catches you.
Hmm.
They show you like that's why I feel like these guys. I don't feel like Trey and Matt are. I think they're playing themselves. It kind of feels like that. I really want to know how they got the roles for this movie or how it came about. Like how they ended up working on it because it just seems too easy for them. This is the movie that I, this is the movie. Like I said, when you're everybody, I talk about this a lot. I'm very open about a lot of things, and when you're from a broken home, there's a lot of little things you have to look forward to because you got a lot of advantages and disadvantages. But people never look at the advantages; they always focus on the disadvantages. I like to look at the advantages, and one of them was that I kind of got to do whatever the hell I wanted. And I remember watching basketball. This is the movie I remember going to watch, and I instantly turned around, paid for another ticket, and watched it again. I remember being in eighth grade and like call my mom and be like, hey, can I? It's because it ended at a time where it wasn't going to be super late. Like the first, it was like a 6 p.m. showing. I saw it or something like that. So it come at 8, and like it was 10 p.m. So I remember getting out, and because I remember I never left the like at our old theater. Like you can kind of stay inside. It could shoot you outside, but you can just kind of stay in and go loop. So I remember I never like went outside and saw the sun leave. I remember seeing the sun, and I remember leaving. When I left, it was dark because I saw it the second time. I laughed my ass off at everything. The characters, all three of them are on point. They have
Hmm.
their own little, their own little personalities. Even like what's his name, the main villain,
Baxter Kane.
Baxter Kane. I like something. I get it. Siegfried and Roy. What's his name? It's Skyhook. What's his name? Abdul Jabbar, Akim Abdul Jabbar.
Yeah.
He's got him
Yeah.
like that's funny. No, he doesn't have Shaq either. But oh no, does Shaq come out? I think Shaq. No, I don't know. I can't remember. But they have a lot of just little funny things. They exaggerate a lot.
Yeah.
They exaggerate all the.
One thing, man, that I always thought was really funny, and it's just like one of those blink and you miss it kind of moments. It's whenever they're celebrating Joey. It's like whenever they get blitzed, dude, and then he goes to the game. They're all wearing like a yellow ribbon, and there's one guy in the crowd.
The skin.
He doesn't have his shirt on. He's just sitting there bleeding. He's just like looking at the camera, like, "What did I
So
do?" You know? Uh,
so I think this is what's going to happen with this movie, and I knew this was going to happen. And you said it earlier, where you can talk to somebody, you can quote parts because this the plot in this movie is very thin, but it's got a lot of stupid things like that. Like I mean, having Jenny McCarthy in this movie is like beautiful. Like I'm like, well, she's stunning. Remember seeing her back then, and even now she's still attractive. But seeing her, and then that scene where she does everything literally, what he says,
you know, lay
lays
the
it.
carpet.
We can lay the carpet, and the angle they put it in, like he's like having sex with her, like you can't tell if she's on top or she's on her knees, but then she's really on her knees, like putting the carpet. He's like, I just did it. Like he does exactly what he says.
Dude, and at the end, whenever she brings him that trailer hitch, I bet because and they don't even say that one. It's like, oh, you could suck the chrome off of a trailer hitch, and he probably said that to her. He's like, here, I did this one for you, and she's got, you want me to start on this one,
Oh man, I mean
oh man.
they do everything. The beginning scene where they talk about just what's wrong with sports.
Hmm.
I can't believe, I seriously can't believe that this movie was made, and that's what's going on right now with sports. Like the NFL actually lets players I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Or they'll exaggerate, not to the point where they're doing like backflips and doing here, but like they're letting them do more and more. But it might get to the point where they could do backflips and cart flips, and I like the fact that they use like these two giant football players and the little like the miniature ref to magnify the size. Like they're Goliath and you're the ref. Like
Uh-huh.
um. It shows you how sports teams start. Like I have a movie that I've been working on for a minute, and it's a lot from it's based off this like not based off this movie, but it's inspired by this movie,
Yeah.
and I'll say a lot of the ideas I get are just God, they're so silly. Like right here, they're arguing in the dugout, and they're having it's the chicken night, and they're picking up that guy's picking up the damn chicken at the dam with this vacuum. Just, like, what is the like? That's those are those little humor parts. Like, what am I supposed to be paying attention to the dialogue, or am I supposed to pay attention to what's going on in the background? Or that's why you go and watch it back. And it was
Free
when I watched.
range chicken night. Like,
Yeah, like
oh,
they
it's a
go all
shame that happened on dozen egg
like,
night.
like you see their personalities go like, oh, it's can I call you pig fucker? Oh no, I'm only my friends call you pig fucker. Okay, pig fucker. Like, it shows you
Oh,
like,
dude. And then that whenever they're in that locker room and you see their dicks
oh,
right there.
I
Oh my
I
god.
didn't get that, man. I didn't get that at all. And until I got older, but then I still don't really get it. Like, I think they're just showing off, right? Like, that's just like
Well, dude, it's just like,
the ego or something.
well, I wouldn't even say the ego. I think it's just like one of those, like you said, it's something that's funny. Like you don't expect it, man. And then whenever he's turned around like the other way and he comes back the other way, it's like, and you see it. I think it's just one of those, like,
But
it's supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to.
well, I think what they're also making
Yeah.
fun of that is that you have these people doing interviews, but other people are taking showers. So like, why are you like if they're in the locker room? They're
Yeah.
interviewing people. Like, of course you're gonna be seeing. Oh, that's what the whole swinging dick. You're gonna see
Yeah.
swinging dick, and that's what
Swing
they're
dicks,
doing. They're
yeah.
swinging dick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
it makes a lot of sense.
And it reminded me kind of like of Bedazzled whenever he's in there. Talking,
You gave me a titty witty.
Yeah.
I thought more as like the like you're a sports athlete, but now I'm thinking about like no, it is because they're in the damn shower, they're swinging dicks, and they're showing it off on the with just each other, just like because it's just a thing. Like, why would you be in the shower, like interviewing
Yeah.
somebody? Let them get dressed and then let them come out. But they're not stretching the boundaries themselves. They're showing like what sports really do, and then they're exaggerating like the psych out, adding the psych out. Like, I mean, just starting from the beginning. I love those homes. What's her Brittany Kaiser is her name? Hey, Dr.
Yeah.
Kaiser. I don't know. I just want to fuck Brittany really bad. Oh, hi, Dr. Kaiser.
Yeah. I want to own a big sports bar. Like, dude, they turned that around perfectly. I love it. I love throughout the entire time that they're going up and talking to people from high school. He's like, cock. Like, he says cock. Every person he goes is like, hey, Skidmark Steve.
Skidmark Steve.
You still hanging out and playing Nintendo? He's like, no, I'm training for the Olympics. I'm doing all this other stuff. He's like, what are you two up to?
Sitting around.
Oh, hanging out, playing Nintendo. Cock. Like,
cock. Man, and I'm starting to notice more about myself about the movies when I watch them. I couldn't really quote as many movies when I was younger because I think I was a little bit ahead of the game and like watching older. Like, one of my friends was saying that he didn't even like get to watch rated R movies because his parents were like, it's okay. Well, no, sorry. He was saying his friends are like that their parents are like, you can't watch it because it's rated R. Where mine, I was like, hey, well, I don't even know what a rating system is. Let me just put it on. Story to me. And like one of these movies, I really could only quote it with a few people, and I think this is why this movie is it really showed me how you can just at a young age like just let your imagination run wild, and still have like this middle ground where everybody understands where you're coming from. I mean, they make fun of every city they go visit. They make fun of the Miami, nautical is like the drug dealers. San Francisco, Texas. I always love when they make fun of San Antonio. Like, they always make fun of us. Like,
San Antonio Defenders. Like, what do we always say?
Like, fuck the Mexicans.
Like, and then they're all looking at each other like, yeah, dude.
like they should see. That's beautiful because I feel like they know it's wrong to say, but they're like, well, with tradition. So it's like,
yeah,
what do we always say?
Like, oh, yeah, and then they say it in public, and they're like, oh,
but even like
and the Alamo is behind it. Like, that's.
I love it, man. I mean, that's I love
Dallas felons, like.
Well, because they're making fun of the Dallas Cowboys because the Dallas Cowboys had all those felons on when they would win those championships.
Even in the beginning, like you said, like they said, recruiting heavily from prisons in Australia and Texas or something like that. Like they mentioned Texas in there.
Oh yeah, and Texas. They'll kick the crap out of you. I think also the beginning where it shows you like where the Lakers went to they moved from
Yeah.
Utah where they're
They,
to LA where there are no lakes. You know, the oil they moved from Houston Oilers to Tennessee where there are no
well,
what do you call oil? Or
yeah, what was it they moved to Utah where
they
they
don't
don't
allow
allow
yeah they
jazz?
moved from New Orleans to Utah where they don't allow jazz. Like I mean it shows you like they're making fun of stuff and it's 2020 right now and this movie was in 1998 and we're still talking about the same stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we stuck in the past this bad? Like the internet should help you bring, but and what I'm finding out is you have to kind of all have to be on the same page, or you got all be stuck in watching this while watching different stuff.
And you know what's funny, man? It's like this movie makes fun of like was like corporations and corporate sponsorships and stuff like that. But you see it throughout the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have Spalding,
Mm-hmm.
you have Pepsi. I mean, surely these big corporations weren't just like they didn't donate anything to it. One thing that I saw that you don't see anymore, All Sport drink. You remember that? All Sport?
That was a really very cheap brand, tasted mostly like it's
Yeah.
corn syrup if I remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was just
Yeah,
like sugar and water.
yeah,
But
dude.
I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. Like, dude, it just like brought back memories. Like, I'm by no means was I very athletic as a kid. I played on a couple soccer teams. I think it was like on blue team or something. I don't even know, man. Like, I played soccer from like 6 to 7. I played a little bit of, football in high school, like my freshman year. Played tennis in junior high and a little bit in high school. But and honestly, dude, I really don't keep up with sports all that much. I kind of attribute it to working for Domino's. You know, every Sunday I was working. Like I
Yeah.
I had no vested interest in the game. I just knew it made us busy and I could make money. Um, and so, even growing up, I mean, my dad used to watch games all the time. I just never really anything that I would just like sit down and watch. I mean, the Super Bowl, yeah, but if we're going to be completely honest, I was there for the movie trailers that were going to be
Oh, the
coming out because
halftime.
they always had like
Yeah.
the big movie trailers that were going to be coming out that year, like the new Marvel movies that are coming out or the new whatever. And so that's what I was a little bit more interested in. And hell, dude, like I'll tell you, the one time that I was really into a game, I was stoned.
Do
I was just like, oh,
you
like
remember what
I
game it
get like I
was?
was I it was a football game. I can't remember exactly which game it was. But I was like, I was getting into it, man.
Yeah.
Um, but I've always enjoyed live sports. Like I could go to
Event.
a football game and be completely entertained. And uh, I used to go to my brothers and sisters went to A&M, so I would go to the A&M games and sit or stand in the student section, and yeah, have a good time over there. I've been to a Cowboys game. It's not like I'm just like, oh no, I'm not for sports. But I mean, if somebody comes and talks to me and it's like, hey, what do you think about the Cowboys this week? They'll do
Yeah.
the best they can. Like I'll just like kind of blow it off and then just keep on going. Like I have, I have nothing. I have no ammo in my arsenal for sports at all.
Man, it's I don't know where to start, dude. Sports, a big deal for me. I even thought I started going to basketball camp at like third grade. I excelled in sports a lot. I'm the kid that didn't have support in the high school, so I turned into without knowing, kind of like a rebel. But not the badass rebel, just the do whatever I want and run away. I use sports till this day to help me out with my mental health, and it's more of the basketball is my bread and butter. I know as I'm getting older, my body's slowing down and is breaking down a little bit, so I can't rely on that too much. So that's why I do a lot of the karate and more of yoga these days and stay busy. I like to be in shape. I like to stay active. Now, learning more about my sports and growing up, I am the football guy. I can tell you about sports trivia. I have all this useless information in my head on sports. Not really useless, but I can hold on to it. Now, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but what I'm trying to say, even like today, watching the Cowboys game, like I'm, I always say this: as a disclaimer with me, it's not that I'm a Cowboys fan. It's that that's my dad's team, and I grew up
Hmm.
watching them, and I know so much about them that I'm like, I don't really want this knowledge to go to waste, but it's kind of it's super useless. But you know what? I want my dad's team to win. And the funny thing about like being like, I call myself a Cowboys fan, even though I don't care. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'll say that I can make fun of myself all I want being a Cowboys fan, and I'm going to be pretty accurate. That being said, I'll say that even what's going on right now, I understand the pandemic is a serious thing, and lockdown. It's showing me what little sports really do contribute to society. Especially, I might be going conspiracy here, and I don't mean to, but I've been playing basketball majority of my life. If not like, like 70-80% of my life. I've watched the game a lot. I'm more of a college basketball player. I prefer to watch college sports, but I'm starting to notice things about athletes now, and I'm starting to notice about they're using it as a game, as gains instead of actually using it as a game, playing the game for what it is. Now it's like who's cool, what cities are trending. There's a lot of sneaky things like players getting cut. Like they're doing it. I can just what basketball's doing. They're making fun of that stuff, and they're doing it right now. Like players like all of a sudden they don't want to be on this team, so they go somewhere else, or they get cut off and they go on they go on a good team. And it's just
Yeah.
like, why do you have these great players on one team? Like you're stacking the deck, man. You're gonna it's not you're taking the love and the sport out of the game, and it's really hard for me to watch the game change, because now I feel like basketball just looks like pickup basketball. There don't really set plays. There's not really position numbers. It's just athletic dudes just playing the sport, and I don't really want to invest my time too much into it, and I don't want to invest too much money into it. But I'm saying I still have that love for it. I still want to pass down sports to my son, but we'll see what other sport. Like I'm not a big soccer guy. I like laughing at soccer because it's it's like it's one of those sports that it's hyped up by Americans, but it's really just a third world country sport, and the only reason it's a third world country sport because it's cheap. It's super cheap. It's super cheap. It's a ball and that's it. And you chase each other and you kick the ball back. I mean, you can do some pretty crazy moves, but that's all it is. And even like soccer is super unorganized. Like I mean, they're criminalized with the getting like just paying some player massive amounts of money and just having one team stacked against all these little teams and they can't beat them because there's no way they don't have a market for them. But to me, soccer. I when I heard Daniel Tosh say, "Why do I care about a sport that a 4-year-old can master?" That's when I was like, okay, he's right. He's right. They blow it up. And then Simpsons they do the commentator. They're breaking down soccer, and it shows the guy going, and he passes to this guy, and he passes that guy, and it's like the boring little triangle passes, and then it shows the Spanish guy. He's like, pass la pelota. He's going crazy. And it's the same view, so it kind of showed me like, oh, it's perspective. But I mean, I'm not trying to rag on soccer too much. I just don't like that it's hyped up way more. If you Google football player, FOOTBALL player,
Mhm.
it'll give you soccer players.
Hmm.
I'm looking for football. I put American football player, and it'll still give me soccer players. I got to be more specific. You got to put like NFL players, or you can't. I was looking for generic, and then it really got to me where I'm like, man, I mean, this is Google, whatever. It's people are controlling it. It's PC culture, but if you're gonna do PC culture, can you please do it right? I didn't spell football. I didn't spell FUTBAL. I spelled
Mhm.
football. That's how soccer is pronounced. It's pronounced football. Football americano is NFL. It's our football. So that's why I'm kind of like, well, if you're gonna do it, at least do it right. Like,
Right.
I didn't spell football. I spelled football. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like that's where a lot of PC comes, and having
You know
that
what
that
really grinds my gears?
exactly having that. I mean, it's one thing to tell people to all be on the same path, but make sure you're on the path too.
Yeah.
And I can't follow. I love that. I get a lot of that maybe from these guys. I for a long time you know it is I didn't find out that it was Trey Parker was kind of the leading force of all this, but I love watching behind the scenes South Park stuff, and they even bring up a part where they talk about, so what do you think of so who is it? Is it they asked first as Matt Stone, who is it? Is it you or is it Trey? And he's right away like, oh, that's all Trey, man. Like these are I'm just the side guy, like I'm the hype man, and if you have this, and then they talk to Trey Parker, and I love his response, and it's the best response I can think. I don't butcher it, but they ask him, "So is it you or is it Matt?" And he goes, and this is all he says. He goes, "Yeah, you have Van Halen, but you don't have Van Halen without David Lee Roth. You don't have, saying that I may still be Eddie Van Halen and this is my band, but I need my David Lee Roth to be who I am." And that's why I was like, damn, that's an awesome like way to describe your right hand man or your person that's helping you through it. Because I feel like some people want to divide them and be like, well, who does this? Oh, then it's really not you. It's always like hearsay bullshit. Where I feel like with these guys, they really know how to like, hey, you can't. We know what we are. You don't try to identify us as something that we're not, or don't try to re-identify us as we. This is who we are, guys. And I think with basketball, it showed me that. I mean, the Robert Stack comes out in this movie, and then they show what Joe Cooper would look like if he was in the future, and it was Mr. T, which is kind of out there, but I think it's kind of funny. The scene right here where he's driving with, and he drives a Beetle. Like,
Yeah.
What's the point of all that? Is he really trying to like? Because they just came out, I think, at that time around 98, 99. Yeah. And I think
that new model. Yeah,
I think it's one of the first movies that actually sports it.
Yeah, because it would have been Superstar right after that, because that's all they drove in that was Beatles. Yeah,
that's true. So they don't really yeah. So, and the song he's playing in, and the warts on your dick will go away if you don't use the cream. Like, this is like
look out ahead. There's a Chuck Changes lane. It's got some yellow crumbs on your upper lip. Those on your dick, they won't go away. Till you start using topical cream every day. I love it. Yeah, he's just like, what? But yeah, dude. Like I found myself even singing that for some reason, like just out of the blue. Like it'll just come to my mind.
Quotable movie, man. It's a quotable movie.
I'm telling you, dude. Like,
I love who's the baseball player? Is it Jackie Robinson?
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson, sorry.
Little shit stole my.
they bring the whole movie back. They bring it back because they start off with him like, I caught one of the balls, and then he's like, yeah, some of those shit stole my last ball. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, dude, I love whenever he's talking to Jenna about that too, and he's like, Mr. October, and she's like, oh, that guy from the Chippendales. He's like, no, that was like Zane.
Yeah, he gets it right correct.
Something. He's like,
yeah, I'll say, man, yeah, this movie's just so silly. And then the friendship of like Joe and Kramer, like they have like, I kind of feel that's all Matt and Trey are, but we're not where Kramer is a little bit over exaggerated.
I think it's Reamer.
Sorry. Yeah, Reamer. Yeah. I remember the Butcher Strikes Again. So basically,
talking Seinfeld.
Yeah. So basically, I think with what's his name, Doug
Reamer.
Yeah, Doug Reamer. I think the fact that they got the star. Yeah, there it is, Reamer. I think they got the star-studded cast in this movie. Oh God, and they even kiss. Like,
dude, one of my favorite parts of this movie is like, dude. Yeah, it's like that's. I feel like that's how they communicate too. Like they don't have to. They know what they're talking about. It's just the inflection. It's just like they understand each other.
Well, deuterometry, man. Like that's. I liked how they show you like it. Man, it's understanding. Like I don't even have to say more than this one word, and the way we say dude. Like I recently had that conversation with a friend where we just got, man, I know. No, I do know. Oh, I was like, yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. And it's a fun little way of you can communicate with another friend. But the dude, yeah, that's a great little scene. There's the lazy boy where he goes out. I mean, this is also how you can start a business. You watch this movie and you really see how they go from, and they play basketball, baseball in their parking lot, and it blows up because people like it. And it's also believing in yourself. I mean, was it Winslow? Was the old,
damn kids with your Pac-Man and track records. He's just looking at him like you got to understand, people today, their attention spans are measured in nanoseconds.
Like
I love his face. Like he nails it.
Man, but they're not lying, man. It's just
No,
it seems like what this is just like one of the precursors of the of what was to come if we didn't change and we became this stuff. I mean,
yeah, idiocracy, like you said.
yeah, you know, Reamer's showing up with the crown on his head because now he's selling out.
Hmm.
Like we have
Dude,
sellout.
and even in here, yeah, like you said, he says like, "Oh, what are you going to start a big Hollywood movie? Fucking sell out." Like that's them right now. Like, this is their big Hollywood movie. It wasn't that big. If we're gonna, I mean, from critics from,
I want to find out what happened with both these movies as we start going down that aisle. I can appreciate
I
this one.
think, dude, I think they're just blackballed, man. I think is honestly what it was. Is that they could not find their medium, and they finally found it with South Park. You know?
I think maybe I kind of sworn that I saw a interview where they said they really didn't want to do movies like featured movies. They want to do more of that. I don't know, but you're right. I think what happens with these guys is that they really did get blacklisted. And you know, imagine going up to another producer being like, they're like, hey, we gave you X amount of millions and you only produced that much. That's a fact. Like, well, no, I mean, look what happened. It was probably distributed in like 3 movie theaters or 800. You know, like
Or,
it's really, and that's the thing is politics, man. All this shit gets in there,
mhm.
gets involved, and this is like, and I feel like diamonds can only come with pressure. You can only make a coal into a diamond with pressure. And I think that's what happened. You push these guys too far, and then look what they did. They became diamonds. And I mean anything. And I think I honestly think maybe that they because they got blacklisted or blackballed. I think maybe they decided to run the table and just beat the crap out of everything you find lovable. I'm gonna make fun of it. I wouldn't have been so much of rebellious if it wasn't more or less people trying to tell me what to do and them not doing it. I really hate that. I hate it. It's like if I'll do what everyone's supposed to do if you all do it right and do it properly. But it's hard. It's hard. The human in themselves, the motion, the mind, you know, understanding things and breaking it down and not getting things and wanting to be perfect. And it's a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
And then for someone to tell you can't be like that, not to say like, oh, you can't like, right. I mean, if anything, now that I'm an adult, I hear that way more than when I was a child. You can't say
Mhm.
that. You can't do that. I'm like, where are you getting this from? Where are you what moral, ethical book are you finding this from? And I think this is what these guys, they try to really show you. Like, look, you want to push these movies down our throat that we need to watch. And okay, let me make fun of you. Let me give you a backhand here. Let me show you this. And I mean, I think what happened with there she goes. She shows up. She's like the chrome off. You want to start on this one? I think with these cats, they really were like they pushed the envelope, and I think it was just backlash. They kept pissing. I mean, they did 3 movies back to back, took a, I guess break, and then they did Team America,
Yeah.
and those
Team
movies killed.
America, yeah, Team America killed. I mean, okay, so the budget for basketball was 25 million, and then its domestic gross was 7 million.
1 million, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, but you got there had to have been something wrong there, dude. Like, and another thing too is like people might have just been, um, it's the same writer and director as, oh, I don't know if it's the same director, but Airplane. And so you have people that are just like, oh, you know, I've seen this. You have Don't Be a Menace that was, you know, making fun of,
Well, just inner city.
you know, interstate. And so you may have, too much of those movies all coming in at once, and that can dilute what you're trying to do too. You know, like they're like, oh, these guys just want to make a quick buck. You know, they think this is going to be funny, kind of thing. Let's see here. Orgasmo was the budget was 1 million, and it only grossed.
600,000.
Yeah, and so, but that's because it was rated NC-17, dude. And this is just theatrical. Like this can't be what it's doing in sales and everything like that at all. And that's just, yeah, it's crazy. Both these movies should have been gangbusters, honestly.
Um,
Like they are hits in my opinion. And even basketball won a Razzie Award.
oh, it
Um,
did for what?
let's see. Oh, nominated. Excuse me, for worst actress and worst supporting actress
The actual
for
Jenny McCarthy got
Yasmin
one.
Bleeth and McCarthy. Yeah.
Wow, that's. I mean, Razzies are. I mean, even at the same time, Razzies are opinionated. So
Yeah,
they're just looking for something to talk shit. It's the opposite.
it's probably the Academy
I'll
just fucking with you.
yeah, I'll say this much, man, about this movies. I think when you are the first one, you're gonna take backlash. You're gonna get your ass kicked. You're gonna. It's supposed to hold you back from you making your next project. And I think that's what I'm learning from these guys. Like, just keep going. Don't. Who gives a shit? Like, keep going. Make your own thing. If you have to play within their rules, play within their rules. But screw with their rules. Um, I like I like Joe Cooper a lot. Cooper. I like the character a lot. He
Yeah.
wears the Letterman. I used to like wearing my Letterman. I like, and it's blue. Mine was blue and white and gray. And he wears the backwards hat. It's like an athlete. He's like trying to be like the average Joe. What are you laughing at? What are you got the?
I'm giving it all I got, Captain.
Even when they break out in quotes, they do that a few times. I haven't once. I don't remember. He does.
Yeah.
What? And he goes like, "I'm giving all she's got." Oh, it brings you back as your friendship.
Love you, always have.
I love
Just start laughing.
you. I love you. I love you too. Always have. That's from Braveheart. Wallace. So William Wallace. That's like awesome that these guys like they really they went with it, man, and they had a good time. Basketball for me I think as I was being a junior high kid and watching this, I was loving it. So think I think you and I are right at that generation where when it came out, they're supposed to hate it, and then the
Yeah.
next generation is supposed to love it. I think that's why we're those pioneers that were like, you got to watch
Well,
this movie.
yeah, and I think it's funny too because like we were both introduced to this movie at around the same age. You
Yeah,
know, like I was probably what like eighth grade going
yeah.
into ninth grade. Somewhere in there, and it just like it resonated. It also helped. I think on the poster back there, it's probably like the creators of South Park. And it's just like I could be wrong. It may not have that on that poster, but
Well, I mean, they probably put it after the resale
yeah,
thing
after
because
yeah.
because I didn't, like I said, I didn't know that these guys were South Park until like, I
Let's see
mean,
here. Yeah,
yeah, after the
it
fact.
says director of Naked Gun and starring the creators of South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and it was a summer movie too, man. Like, what else was coming? I guess Godzilla came out that year.
So
Dude,
I mean,
that
we could find that out real quick. It doesn't take that long
yeah.
to. I mean,
I guess we do
it,
have
it,
the internet now.
it got 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Orgasmo got 6.2 out of 10, and that has 34,403. This one has 56,387 basketball. Um, my son's middle name is Cooper.
Is it because of basketball?
I will say it's not because of basketball for the first part. The second part is well, it's because the street that his mother and I first met was Cooper Lane, and we like this. We put it in there, but then I realized I was like, I like that, but he'll be a Cooper. Like I like that. I went more for that on that. I was my like he's a Cooper man. He's Cooper.
Thank God you didn't name him Squeak, man.
Squeaky little bitch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Squeak for a minute, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like he's an adult getting name called and tattled, not tattletale,
Yeah.
like they're making fun of him. And
Ragged
that
on, yeah.
ragdog, yeah, they're ragging on, and that shows you. I love that. That's something that it gave me a heads up that you're gonna be an adult, and there's people are still gonna shit on you.
And what's funny too is like you get it a little bit from them, just a little bit, because let's see, this is Denslow 5 that they're playing in at the end. So at the very beginning, you're playing at Denslow 4. We'll say it's a year in between the two, if not more. So he's been with them for 5 years minimum. And so you kind of see that they aren't ragging on him as much later on in the movie. Everybody else is, Joey's like, "What grade are you in?"
Yeah.
And you have the people that are doing interviews like, "You want to talk to me?" No. And so they have kind of created that for him where like nobody gives him any respect, but they do. They respect him. And whenever they first started, doing everything with him, they had no respect for him. It's because he wouldn't stand up for himself. And I think over the time he eventually did, but he couldn't get the respect.
Well, I think with Reamer too, that scene where he slaps him, like, come on, get hyped, take hype. He's and he just smacks him like, all right, like he builds that confidence in there.
Yeah, and they're trying to build him up later on, like you said. And one thing, whenever he moves in with them, and he's like, all right, that's gonna be 1/12 of the rent, 1/12, and I was like, that does not add up at all.
Yeah, 1/12. Like, what is it?
And he's like, oh, dude, is that a pull-out bed? Yeah, that's a totally sweet bed, but that's Jenkins' bed.
Yeah.
This is your bed over here. That's so fucking weak. And he's like, and then Coop goes in there. He's like, oh, dude, you couldn't. It's like, how am I supposed to get a chick in there? He's like, oh, you can get a chick if you had $100 bill sticking out of your zipper. It's like, I could too. And then,
no, you can't, dude. You
could. Bitch. Yeah. He's like, I am not a little bitch. Yeah, but you're a piece of shit. And he's just like,
no, it's a loop.
I swear.
I'm not a piece of shit, like, you little bitch.
Yeah, and he's like, God, I swear, if you guys rag on me 13 or 14 more times, I'm out of here. And so
that line I did use a lot in high school. Or like,
yes,
you guys mess with me like 20 more times, I'm gonna leave. Like,
yeah, dude.
You think you give like a big long number.
Dude, one thing that got me with Squeak too is whenever Reamer and Cooper fighting, he's like, you know what? You're not my best friend anymore. And then he goes and he pulls him out of the fucking, like, he's sleeping in the locker room, dude.
He's sleeping in the onesie.
Yeah, and he's like, come on, bitch, you're my new best friend. And he's like, what? Really? Are we going to the zoo? Like, that's his first question.
He's a little kid, man. I will say the I don't know how to describe this, and like I said, these are not my words. I'm just saying them, but I don't. The Squeak chick is the transgender. Is it a guy crossdresser? Is it what? I don't know what I don't know what to identify it.
He's like, that's a dude. He's like, he's like the sweetest Adam's apple, like.
I mean, how do you tell your buddy? Like, you try to tell him.
He tried to tell him numerous times, but I think with that, man, they're just like, well, let him do what he wants. I mean, what's actually kind of funny is they tread along those lines of like, are these guys gay? Do they love each other? Whatever, because they're like making out at the end, stuff like that. So, I mean. Maybe they're just like subtly just being like, do whatever you want, do whatever makes you happy, love who you love.
I mean, I do like how you brought up that the Squeak does have he has character development, even though you have to kind of you kind of have to catch it. But the fact that he's willing to nail that chick, even though they tell him not to, he's like he's still human. I mean, they even at the end of the movie with the they have highlights, like. Reaver jumping in the air, and then Joe throwing it backwards. It's got like a very dramatic ending, and they win. So like they look like they're like the Midwest All-American team. They didn't want any trading. Everybody stays on the same team. Like they wanted rules to keep it, working, but it didn't work because people weren't liking it. And once they started adjusting, they got more people, but it's not the original game. I think that's where I'm at with like some of my sports. Football players. Not being able to play, because the virus is serious, but like, why would they be out? Like, it kind of sucks. Like, you'd have to be quarantined the whole time to make sure you don't get sick as a football player. But it can be any moment they can just say, hey, you got COVID and you can't play today, or Like,
okay.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was just looking up if it was a guy or a chick playing that. It's a guy. It's Micah McCain.
No, I know it's a guy, but I mean in the movie, like what are they trying to do?
And the name is Heather Kaiser.
Is the Dr.
So
Kaiser?
is that Brittany Kaiser's? It's Heather.
Mom?
Yeah.
Is that Brittany Kaiser's mom?
Ooh, I don't know, dude.
Because I know it's a guy playing the role, but I want to know in the movie. Is it? But hey, that's just a little.
It says Heather, so Heather. No.
Yeah. Oh, I also like. Yeah.
But Kaiser, that's interesting that they chose the Kaiser name for it. Maybe it's her sister or something. I don't
I
know.
mean, at the end,
Brother, sister,
everybody gets a chick. Even Reamer gets, you
Jenny
know,
James.
yeah, yeah. Or
What's her
no,
name?
that was close. That was like Jenny McCarthy. That was crazy. You said
Oh,
she is,
Jesus.
and is that's
Ah,
a very Jenna. She's like a, it would be like a PC version of Jenna Jameson. That is funny. The picking up Squeak at the very end with with
yep.
the girl. I mean, it's this movie goes full circle. It's pretty. The humor is there. This is slapstick. This is in your face. This is lovable. It's serious tones. They're just. I mean, they even bring up the sweatshop. Like
Yeah.
they do that. You know, Nike does that. I mean, I don't know. I'm guaranteed. I've never been
Apple.
there. You know,
I
Apple.
mean,
You know, you hear these products all the time being made in these terrible. And it really does mess with me. Like they're being made by children. Like even if you have a shitty childhood in America, at least you have a childhood. The other
mhm.
third world country, you're actually like you don't know any better. You're like I have to work. I've been working this whole goddamn time, and I don't have to. You know, I was supposed to be a kid. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I think for all the sensitive stuff they talk about, like there's a lot of stuff people can put a blind eye to, but I mean, there's a lot of great things about this. It's the average Joe. It's just a guy that they just start having fun and they believe in something. They invented the game on the fly. And which I'll say that the tall guy in the basketball scene in the early
Mhm.
movie, he comes out in like 5 of the movies as a basketball player.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
off the top of my head, he's in Blue Chips. He's a recruit. He's in the Sixth Man. You
Mhm.
know, he's in that one. He's plays for Utah. Get your finger out of my eye. Oh, he's the guy that freaks out. He's also in I want to say Above the Rim. He's also in he has like a lot of flows as a basketball player. I thought that was
Interesting.
interesting. Like just because he's a tall guy, I think he was like 6'7", but he's just a basketball player. And then like he got casted in quite a few movies. I thought that was cool. Like because you can play ball in real life, but then you got to play ball in a movie. You got to show it, and he could do that. I think he was also in Fresh Prince. He was one of the basketball players there. I think it's pretty good. I don't know. I want to look it up a little bit more. I'll do a little bit more research on him. I thought that was pretty cool for that guy. But they brought up basketball. They made it up on their because they were lazy. You know, they didn't want
Yeah.
to none of that dribbling shit that you do that fancy that suburb shit y'all do. We split the city. We just
In
stand
the
in one
hood.
spot. We stand in stay one position. But you know, even like
they,
that, like
they, they, they try to make it sound like, I shoot and then if I don't make it, you get a letter. You mean horse? No,
no,
it's not like horse.
no, of course not. No, it's not like horse. But yeah, he's you get a Joe Cooper, Doug Reber, Squeaks Calori. Like he looks like the little
Sweet.
bitch. I even like the they showed the jocks and they showed that guy with the big ass jock, the retired
Yeah.
basketball players. Now the reason I don't have a lot of notes like I said in this movie because I don't other than having to look into it and doing research about the stuff that happened to this with this movie off camera, you know, behind the scenes. Um, I don't know too much. I could do a little bit more research. I know I've seen stuff about it, but I honestly think, like you said, I think it's the fact that this movie got blacklisted. This movie got blackballed. I would like to
Yep.
look more into that, like how Trey Parker got and Matt Stone, how they got beyond things, and I think maybe people just saw that they you know they were doing something and they people believed in them or something. But basketball to me, and when a kid is going through something dark, they got to find something to attach themselves to. And I kind of attached myself to this movie only because it was so silly, so
Yeah.
but it's got a high quality in it. They did put a lot of money into it, 23 million, and they only got a fraction of the cost back. But it seems
Yeah.
why it seems why we know why. But every scene in this movie is hilarious. The actors bring it, the delivery brings it. I'm sorry I didn't go too deep into Orgasmo. I think Orgasmo has more of an independent feeling to it.
Mhm.
I enjoy that. I love that independent feeling. I love the feel. I love just that's what I do, you know. But I'll say that like I said, it has a Clerks feel to it, and then Clerks 2, where they had a budget. I feel like that's like basketball. They have a budget here, and they see what they can do. And man, this movie's great. All the casting, all the actors, everybody works together. Even the old dude, the scene where
Ted
they do the
Denslow.
Denslow, yeah, Ted Denslow. When they even do the scene where he's in the doing the eulogy, like he doesn't even give him time to get everybody out the room. Like make sure everybody leaves. Like 2 seconds
Everybody
passes.
just
Or
sits
yeah.
there.
And then he starts talking about his part where he had crabs or something like that. He starts like he even shows you like the deep part of it. Like he had
Are
this
you getting
relationship.
this? Like,
And then I like the fact. I mean, even Reamer throws them out. Yeah, Reamer, you getting this? Like, oh, but he even shows them. Here, I got this for you. It's just the flowers, but it's the
yeah.
horseshoe. Like, he was like
Hot
sleep.
pretzel? Like,
Shit, you don't cook. I made it myself. You don't do that. Yeah, but chicks like that. Like, but
yeah,
even at that, like, Joe, you can tell that Joe is supposed to hook up with her. What's the character's name?
Jenna.
Jenna. So you know that Joe and Jenna, but Reamer's still trying to get his say so he can, because Joe doesn't really like give in or acknowledge that he's interested. He just kind of he's doing his thing. But I love the fact that they it's a game that they just kind of created on their own on the spot, and they got the neighborhood involved and had so much buzz. He even created it got big, but even created the lazy boy, the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it has sentimental value to him, and like I said, I think watching this movie as a kid and being able just to watch the Naked Gun movies, going to watching Airplane randomly, and then watching all three Naked Gun movies like in a row, which just like I binged that as a kid, just laughing. And Naked Gun, watching as a child and watching as an adult, there's nothing wrong with that movie. This one, I don't think I'd show. I mean, I saw as a teenager, but as a young adult, I don't know. Teenager's fine, because I think you want to get the references. You want to be able to get, like, you might like I saw my son when he's a teenager. He might not get the Victoria Silverstead, but he'll understand it's a playmate. We get it more because Al Michaels and the Bob Costas, they're actually in the movie, which really make it.
Dan Patrick.
Dan Patrick's in it too. I think he's not a repeat offender on this show, but on the other one we talked about, on Adam Sandler Hoobie Halloween, he's in it, and he's part of Sandler's crew, so he's been in a lot of Sandler movies lately as of late. What was I going to say? But I think for Orgasmo, seeing the start, seeing how they got started and how they did the acting, and understand, I like all that. I love that about that movie. It's not going to be one of my favorite movies. It's just going to be a nice movie I recommend. If you're an independent filmmaker, totally watch it, totally understand it. But Basketball is for the jokesters. Basketball is for the people that like to laugh. People that they just don't hold anything too personal, and they just get it and they move on. And I love this. What are you laughing at now?
I looked down and I saw my notes said meeting Reggie Jackson is like, I just thought of that scene. He's leaving. He's like, "Hey, Coop, I don't have your fucking ball." Like, he's like, "Fuck next year."
Yeah. Oh, you right here, the part where the Miami guy's trying to psych out Coop, and he's just telling him off in Spanish, and he's like, "Okay, I don't get it. Tu mamá no puede comer nada." He's like saying your mom's a horrible cook and all this shit. Like, it's funny because
it's funny because that's what the Italian guy says to him.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah, true. And it's I mean that's kind of our cultures are. You can make fun of us, like, well, not really, you're sensitive, but you can make fun of don't make fun of minorities like mom. It's like that's where they go. They go personal. It doesn't work for them.
Whenever he's like,
yeah. And that's just like, the suck of the fat Marlon Brando's. I mean, there's just so many little things.
It's so salty.
That's not a gay joke. It's not a gay joke.
Australian for vagina.
It's not a gay joke.
Dude, I love it. He's bent over. He's like, yeah. And he gets up real quick and then goes right into the.
But it is even like that. There's rules in basketball where you can be too offensive. So that's like, so I like that they show it. They don't go deep into it, but you go into it. Now let's go. I guess we get to that point where we can talk about the ratings. I did bring up the IMDb earlier, which
dude, go to Rotten Tomatoes because it's gonna be
I'm gonna get there.
I'm at it right now. Basketball has on the tomato meter for the critics has a 42%. Okay,
52. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then audience score is 74%, which I think is right where it needs to be, man. Like that really kind of gives you an idea of where this movie is as far as the audience is concerned. People that watch this movie love it,
Wow, what's up?
Orgasmo, you're gonna have the
almost the same
Rotten Tomato. It's 48% for the critics, 66% for the audience score. So audience is giving this a little bit more than the critics are, which I feel like you tend to find in comedies. the audience is gonna typically like the movie a little bit more than the critics because they're just gonna be like, this isn't a smart comedy, blah 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 blah.
I think, I
And
mean,
they,
yeah, because I feel like a critic will put their, I mean, we use our personal background and why we watched it and stuff, but I think they'll just tell you, they'll try to tell you like this is why it's not, and like some kind of like, I don't know, spice buzzwords that they use, where an audience feels like more, it's like, yeah, no, this is what we think, and it's
it's
always
not
you,
artsy,
yeah, it's, yeah,
you
and you
know.
also get the, I mean, we're I feel like a tomato meter critic is trying to show off, where an audience before it's just like, no, like this is what we think, and I think this is what I would get. I mean, I've had the Rotten Tomato up and I was watching it, and it shows that a 48 and a 66 for Orgasmo and a 42 and a 74. I think it's pretty the same, and I think there's a pattern here with the blacklisting, and I think that's what they want you to believe. Like it's like basketball. The critics' conscious is a basketball isn't just a succession of fouls thanks to the comedic zip of David Zucker's direction, but sophomoric gags and lack of performance hustle by Trey Parker and Matt Stone makes this satire a clumsy blunt. Like, where are they getting that? They you got, I don't know. Maybe it's because we know the actual characters and we know their other stuff that we can say like, oh no, I get it, but it's not like that. Like I saw this movie before I saw South Park, and because it came out before, or even before I can even connect the dots that they were together. I'll say
Yeah.
that this movie was it was it was good. Like it wasn't there was no influence there. I think they just watching the movie as what I'm trying to say is watching the movie as just the movie and not knowing about Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and then all of a sudden now that I know him and like I watch the movie again, I love it even more. The, the,
Yeah.
this yeah this like understanding how they did it and what they did. I mean, the San Francisco I want to be inside you. It's like like
I want to be.
yeah, like they really kind of making fun of just areas in sports. Like they dig deep in there. I honestly think that I don't know if anybody else you could have got to pull off these characters like this well. Um, that being said, I guess I would guess rate Orgasmo first, and I mean only $600,000, like, and that's a small release, and they still I think that's a lot.
Yeah. Um, I'll go for the ratings. We'll go ahead and knock it out. Orgasmo, man. Like I said, first time viewing it. Definitely plan on seeing this movie again. Just because it is, I feel like it is comparable to quotes as basketball. If you give it multiple viewings.
If you put it in there enough, yeah.
So from that, I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to give this movie a 10. Um, as you know, our score system is through 13.
Yeah.
So would it's hard. Like, man, would I recommend this movie to everyone? Probably not. I think it would be. This is how the conversation would go, and this is kind of how it was brought to me. Like I said, I have a buddy of mine. He's a little bit older than I am, and he was about the only person I could quote basketball with whenever I was working at Domino's in
Yeah.
Stephenville. And so he was the one that was just constantly like, "You got to see Orgasmo. You have to watch Orgasmo. You got to do this." And so that would be how the conversation would go. It'd be like, "Have you seen basketball? Yeah, you need to watch Orgasmo." That would be how I would approach recommending this movie to people. Because, and also, like, do you like South Park? If you enjoy South Park, you are going to enjoy both of these movies because the humor may not be exactly the same, but you're going to get a lot of it. A lot of that goofy humor, a lot of that fun humor, a lot of kind of offensive stuff, but not over the top.
Yeah.
But I would give Orgasmo a 10. What do you got?
Man, dude, on Orgasmo, it's really hard for me not to give it a 10. I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm giving it a 9, man, like I said, the 11, 12, and 13 are perfect scores and some where I think a 10 is a perfect score just for the regular. I give it a 9 because actually, man, it's just the low budget part, but that's cool about it. It's hard for me to give it anything. Like I could give it a 10 easily. I don't even know why I'm giving it a 9, but I can't even think of anything. But it's because I kind of like care too much about the actual people that made it that I don't want to. But I can't recommend this movie for everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. Like you said, that's the same way almost. It was one of the skater guys that was like, I used to quote basketball a lot, and one of the skater guys goes, "Man, he was like, you gotta watch, or like same way you gotta watch Orgasmo. Go watch it. You know, and then you can watch it on VHS, and then you watch it, and you're like, okay, I saw it, and then you could talk about it. And I didn't talk about it like I talked about basketball. Still, it didn't click in my head because it was just more the porno stuck out more. And then watching it a couple months ago. And I was sitting down just focusing on it. I was like, oh my God, this is like so, I don't know. I just shows me also that my skin is so thick that I didn't find anything offensive with this movie at all. Like it didn't bother me. I didn't see, I mean, like I said, this the ass. It shows a bunch of guys' asses, like a lot. Like I don't, that was kind of like whatever. But like, I'm not saying I'm offended or homophobe or anything. That I just kind of was like, okay, like, or whatever. Like it just, I just don't think, showing body parts or whatever. I mean, it gets the point across what I'm trying to say, but man, nah, it's a 10. I would track it's a 10 because it's got too many fundamental things with it. It's got too much attachment to it. Now, if I recommended to somebody that's not into this stuff and they'd be like, dude, this is like a 2 or a 3, I'd be fine with them saying that because I know where it stands. With Orgasmo, I know that it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to come at you. There's not one scene in Orgasmo that makes me feel like I don't want to watch it. Or I mean, I'm never like that with movies, but I don't know. I feel like it's just somebody who's wanting to get offended is gonna watch that and get offended, and I just think it's fun. It's humor. I love the fact that it's made. It's made. I love the fact one that it's made because two, it shows like for other people you can where the line is and that you can reach it. Or if somebody makes your movie NC-17 for no reason, you can be like, hey, are you doing an Orgasmo to me? Or so all. I mean, just being that said, I think man, I think 10 for sure. These guys know how to make a movie. Trey Parker knows how to write. If he knows how to really do the karate part, like goddamn, I even give my like just that part. The budget isn't that bad, but it is good. It's you know what it is. It's you got to get the humor. You got to get the humor. It's not like basketball where you watch it and that's just funny shit they're doing. Every time there's a fight on Jerry Springer, you got to take a shot and they end up getting wasted because there's a fight every 10 seconds. Like yeah,
it smells like Robert Downey Jr.
God, they even took that jab there. Robert Downey, that's when he was going through all his addiction shit, his addiction stuff. And my boy RDJ came through, so that's good. But even like that, they'll take a jab at you, and you're still able to prosper. And so Robert Downey still did badass. But moving into basketball, it's easy. It's obvious. The signs, the writings on the walls.
Say it.
Say it. I gotta. This is a 13.
Say it.
This is 13 for me, and I will even say it's probably number 6 on my list. So it's up there. Yeah, it's up there.
Wow.
Because it's up there, 6 or 7. It's up there because the fact that it's all funny at one point, and also I couldn't even tell. I thought Trey Parker wrote this.
Yeah.
Like it feels exactly like a Trey Parker Matt Stone movie. Like it feels like they it's just them, but it's not. There's another element to it, and that throws me off. When you're in junior high and you're raised around a lot of like religious people, and they're always telling you watch what you say and telling you to shut up, and then you can watch something like this and does it talking for you. You put something and you don't have. You're like you get to respect this more. You get to really, and this movie goes far, but it doesn't go like Orgasmo pushes the envelope as farness, but this movie goes far, but it brings you right back, and then it gives you little cute little things there that are funny. I never understood what the syringe and the outlet. I don't know if it was a reference for like an older movie or what was the whole point. Like, wouldn't they die, or it was just like it was just a way for them to segue into the next scene. I don't know what it is. I've always wondered about that scene.
It was probably just to cut off the power to the to the hospital, so they go left, 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 and then just crash into.
Yeah, and it's to me. I mean, you little bitch, squeaks, glory. Just even just talking to you right now, getting more of clarity on him, and seeing him in Orgasmo, and then seeing him here, it's like, wow, he does have a range as an actor.
Mhm.
He has a degree in film production, but he's acting. So as long as you're in the world, doesn't matter. The love story in this movie is funny.
Mhm.
Jenna, she's attractive. She's pretty. She's kind of got this Kelly Kapowski look going for her.
Yasmin
Um,
Bleeth, dude.
what's up?
Yasmin Bleeth.
Yeah, yeah. The guy who's bleeding with the pin, he's just like hanging out, like his shirt off. Like his lips are like it's hurting him, but he's doing it for the
Yeah.
game. Even being drunk, where he's gonna take a shot and then they turn him around. I mean, even I forget Joey Coco Diaz is in this movie. And
Yeah, yeah. I was looking that up.
apparently he screwed up the scene or something. Like he couldn't remember his lines, or something. He talks about it on his podcast, but I don't remember exactly what he did. I know he goes, I fucked around on basketball. Um, I mean, even Cooper having to hit 3 out of 4 home runs is hard, and he did it. Like drunk at that. Like he's good in his sport. Um, yeah, I got it a 13. I don't know. I don't, if you ask me like why is this movie so perfect for you, it's just like bedazzled, man. Like when I saw it and how the acting. When I say perfect movie as well, like this movie has no scenes that are wrong. Like you watch it continuously. It's made perfect. It's a perfect pace. It's funny when it needs to be. It's hilarious when it needs to be. There's no serious point to this. But everything they turned it on is serious topics. Same thing with Orgasmo. There's nothing serious about it, but they flip it on it, and man, I think the fact that I watched it twice in a row tells me something about myself. And watching Orgasmo on VHS was harder for me to connect to when I slide right into basketball. I mean, when I saw it for sale for dollar, I think it was $1.99. I just instantly bought it. I had
Yeah.
like $5 in my account. I was like, all right, I'll waste 3 or 2 of them on this. I don't care. But I do gotta say basketball. Just even the cheerleaders are being like the strippers, like in the replacements, they had stripper cheerleaders because that's all they had available.
Mhm.
This one, they really, this is where cheerleading has gone. Like this, like and you see it with like the pageants and like Honey Boo Boo and all this stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of a precursor. But what you got? What you got, Big Ben? What's your score?
13.
Well,
13, man.
is this our first double 13? Is this? I think it might
Yeah.
be. I think it might be. Yeah.
The Laguna piece right here, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, dude. This movie, it pivotal. I mean, really, it just it's like I grew up with it, man. Like this was a movie that, like I said, shaped a lot of my humor. And it was one of those movies I could just put in any time and watch. It was one of my, I don't even know if it was one of my first rated R movies, but it was definitely one of the funniest movies that I knew I had in my collection. I traded it for Elf.
Yeah.
And Elf is a great movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
No.
but yeah, dude, like this, it hits on all the levels, man. It's funny all the time, and all the time it's funny. Like there's just no way around it. Plus, like I said, it has South Park in it. I love South Park.
Mm-hmm.
South Park is genius, um, and you get to see the creators of that just being goofy and yeah, pretty much just being with the people that they love and then realizing that okay, you've always been around, and just I don't know, man. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I was gonna just say with see, so you brought the South Park thing, and we can't get away from it. It's all over
No,
this.
no.
Like I
That's
love
their
it.
bread and butter, dude. Like that is as much as yeah, dude. Like it's gonna be surrounding everything they do, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think
No,
that's a
no, no.
great thing to be like, all right, yeah, these are the creators of South Park. Like this is, this is their movie. Orgasmo is like Trey Parker directed, wrote all that good stuff. This one, I feel like they're just having fun, man.
Yeah, I just feel like they're just having a great time. I feel like now what I know it is to make a movie, and it feels like they were just invited on this set, and they said you guys can do whatever you want, have fun, and I think
Yeah.
it feels like they did that. Um, South Park to me, I there before Imagination Land, I want to say, was the Man Bear Pig episode
Yeah, yeah, that
was that before
yeah, it
the
was before because yeah, it was like they they went to like some kind of mine. The only reason I know this, dude, is because I had a couple of buddies of mine. We got like I think it was season 9. It was the season with the Ginger Kids episode in it, and they loved watching that with me because I have red hair. It's like, you have no soul, and but yeah, no, they go to like this cave or something like that, and they get stuck in there, and it ends up like Al Gore ends up flooding it or something like that. I don't know. But that's where it's like, Man Bear Pig did it. Like
Yeah.
it's there. Yeah.
Global warming is what Man Bear
Yeah.
Pig is supposed to be, but it's actually just us. I say that because there was about 3 seasons I broke off. There's a part there in my 20s where I stopped watching it,
Yeah.
and I didn't mean to. I just stopped. I saw Imagination. I saw that when they were showing it on TV, so I started watching it. That kind of got me back in, and then I started being able to go back on the internet and watching old episodes, and I ran into the Man Bear Pig saga, and then I just said I gotta catch up. So I binged like 3 or 4 seasons of South Park back to back, and I was caught up right away. And I'm just like, damn, like these guys are good. Like I would love to write for these guys, like and learn how to do this technique. But when it comes to rating animated shows, there are some, or just anything in my life, there are some things, shows, sports, movies, anything I have like where I have a big connection with. Like I love animated shows, and I could really, um, I could rate a lot of them. But when it comes to South Park, it kind of has like this God mode on me that it doesn't fall in the 1 through 3, 4, 5. It doesn't fall on the list. It's just up to the side because it's all anything they do. I'm gonna support anything. It's there. Michael Jordan, like he's just the best basketball player. I don't even mess with that. So I put him up there, up to the side, and then I move on. The next guy, I'll talk about number 2 being number 1 for me.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. But South Park is that thing. It was that thing that catalyst. I've always been into animation. I've always been into cartoons. So it's not the fact that they were the ones that got me into it. I don't know. They just showed me what you can do with it.
Yeah.
I'm a big Futurama guy. I can binge. Like there'll be some time out of the year where I will just binge maybe 6 seasons of Futurama because I even like the new stuff. Like
Yeah.
I love Futurama. I love The Critic. I'll watch all the times where I watch the show. So those are like kind of my top like 3 shows that I like to kind of. But I still watch South Park. I mean, I still watch Family Guy, Simpsons. I've been catching up on Simpsons a little bit. I watch
Same.
other shows. Bob's Burgers. Archer when I get it. Archer I haven't really got into. I've dabbed into it, but like I have a lot of that stuff. I mean, I'm looking into a YouTube channel that streams GI Joe, Real American Hero from from the 80s. They all the time. I used to watch that all the time as a kid. So the thing about South Park is, and I think you're getting this from both our attitudes, and I think this is that part where you and I have like this connection where it's like, all right, South Park, Matt Trey, you'll see all the stuff about that we've seen that we know we'll be able to branch off, and we're not the same because like you said, you don't keep up with sports and I do and other things, so we have different varieties, but like seeing a show that we both just can like talk about and really dig in with these guys is a good connection. And then having, like you said, like that childhood connection with it. South Park itself, that show is just the thing I like about it is that they make fun of. I don't know if they're making fun of. They just show you like, hey, you're gonna tell me what to do here. Let me show you how this looks, or let me show you this route, or I mean, just the fact that the parents are the ones that are acting like children, the children are acting like adults, and that's how it feels like in real life. And I feel like they speak kind of like a beat for some generations. And I don't know if the frequency is for everybody, but obviously there's a lot of people involved in South Park that are still around, and they're very, very strong. I'm pretty sure people every year are trying to take them away, but they're still there. And I mean, they said they only got to do like 2 more seasons. They're like, we don't want to do South Park into our 60s. And I'm like, it gives me a year to kind of try to see if I can get a show or something. But that being said, this is a 13. This falls in my top 10. This hits all the nostalgia, and that's the thing. Everyone remembers CJ's got the nostalgia factor. It hits all the
Damn.
nostalgia, this nostalgia thing. And we got one. If we got finally hit with a band like this,
No.
this is in my top 10, somewhere in my top 10, 5, 6, 7, around there. I like to watch this movie also just to kind of like just break out and just like I'm in this world. I can really just get into this world, and just seeing the friendships and the way they act. They're still kind of like kids. I mean, you know what I'm saying, cock. It's like, you know, hey, cock. Like, you know, he says, "Would you still, hey, you still playing video games and you know, hanging out?" He's like, "No, I'm actually going to starting for." Oh,
Wow,
he's also
y'all are still the same from high school. Oh, that's cool. No, it isn't. Hey,
cock, yeah, cock.
cock.
You know, skateboard Steve. But
Yeah.
I mean that shows you like I might fall into this umbrella. Like I'm not trying to be like those guys. Like I'm not trying to pour the tie and do
Hey,
that shit.
listen, man. First you get the jobs, then you get the
Yeah.
khakis, then you get the girls.
Then you get the girls.
But yeah, dude, kind of like what you were saying earlier, man. Like the reason I went to go see the Book of Mormon, I mean, it was Matt and Trey. Like, dude, that if it had been any of the thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, I honestly enjoy plays. I mean, me and Kenny went and saw Evita up here in Dallas whenever we came up here last fall or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, I enjoy them, but just having that like stamp on there, like this is a this is a Trey Parker, Matt Stone play. I'm like, I'm there, dude. Like they kill musicals. Like they're. I always like it when they have musicals on South Park because they write some of the funniest shit
Yeah,
and
dude.
they make it lie. They make it rhyme and do all that. Oh, and another thing. Speaking of musical stuff, Real Big Fish. They're in this. They're in basketball,
Yeah.
and you know, like was it ska band and all that. But one really kind of cool thing is so Corey Morrow. He's a Texas country artist, and he actually did a cover of Beer. The song I don't know if it was specifically made for this movie
Yeah.
or not, but he did a cover of that where he does like he sings this song and I Shot the Sheriff. Like he merges all these songs in together, and dude, it is great, man. I love me some Texas country, and you know it also ties in basketball. Like it's almost the best of both worlds for me. I can't tell
Yeah.
you how many times I would just be like going down the road blaring that shit. You know, I done got myself a
Take
beer.
on.
You know, dude, yeah, like and take me on or take on me too. Like,
But the way they put it on them, like they just the way it transitions from like first season till then that where they've come, like it shows you like it's a
yeah,
great feeling. It brings the best. If I'm not mistaken, like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones had that one song come out. I think it was also like very trumpet heavy. So when that song came out, plus this movie came out, this song, it was really like, whoa, they're bringing trumpets back. Like it was like making them cool in songs. Man,
kind of swingers esque, you know.
yes, swingers. Hey, here we go again. Another recall to John Favreau. That being said, man, we have we I think we've tackled this beast. I feel like I could have brought more to the table with both these movies, but Orgasmo, like I said, it's you got I think you gotta watch. I can't just recommend this movie.
Yeah,
Basketball I would recommend to people that get offended easy. I'd be like, watch this. Like like I would recommend this to anybody. I would say the reason I don't know what to do about the nostalgia thing because it makes me appreciate movies more now that I'm older. And I remember being like, I watched this at a young age and I didn't get it, but I knew I had to watch it. Like Fight Club, I didn't understand Fight Club at all. But when I first saw it, but then once I got older, I was like, I gotta watch it. It's a good movie. I know it's good. Like, but then as I got older, I understood the split personality thing. I was like, oh shit, okay, that makes more sense to me. Okay, I rewatched it. Man, I just like these guys acting, they're performing. I like seeing their friendship on. Remember, you're gonna. I mean, I bet you in my top 10 movies, they're gonna be at least half of them are gonna be buddy comedy movies. They're gonna be friendship movies. I got a thing for that. I think I think having friends is a big deal, but I feel like it's hard to being friends. I hit, like me and the word love. I feel like people will strive to get that word love, but I feel it's so hard. It's actually hard to love somebody. It's really hard, and I think that's what a lot of people, what these movies try to show you. Like, it's kind of hard to do stuff, but you can also get it done either way.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I don't even know. I don't just dude,
Dude,
like that. That's a form. Like I don't know if they invented it there, but I remember just people we talk like that. It's still this day. But
Mhm.
what kind of we're out of Halloween. We're October. We're moving into the fall. We're in the fall. I don't know. But we're November, and then we got December, and then 2020 will be over. So let's start. Let's see what we're doing next.
Let's
I do.
see here.
I am thinking about getting Loot Crate because you've been talking about it like crazy, and I want to get it. And
It's
not like
good.
crazy.
It's good. The reason I don't have it anymore is, man, I would just have like,
Abundance of stuff. Like,
yeah, dude, like, I don't get me wrong, like, I think it's awesome. I got it for one of my managers for Christmas one year, like a 6 month subscription, and yeah, dude, it's cool. It's really cool to have, and they have special boxes where you can just order that.
yeah,
So if you have like something specific, I mean, you just get that, and then no more. I bought the South Park box for another one of my managers too.
yeah.
For like, I was like, oh, you need this, and like send it to him. And anytime there's a new South Park episode, I mean, we call each other and talk and do all
Dude,
that
yeah,
stuff.
dude. I need to catch up now. I don't know if where they're at right now.
And they're it's season 23 or no 24, but it's kind of like on halt.
It's a
They
whole.
had one episode that was an hour long. It's called the Pandemic Special.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then did you see the last season where Randy's doing like integrity weed the
Yeah.
entire time? Yeah, so that's where they're coming up with the specials and everything like that. But
I was gonna say,
what's up?
I was gonna say I saw something on the integrity special and people were trying to knock it and how come it's not funny and stuff. But I was just like, nah, man, that's just real funny. And then
It's hilarious.
they're blatantly making fun of like what happened, like how
Yeah,
this happened. Like, they gotta be pissed off too, like it's I don't know. But I brought up Loot Crate because I was like, man, I got my new shirts in, and I got a
RoboCop again.
I got my Marvel. I'm trying to get as many little shirts that kind of represent me or anything I like. Just that kind
That's a
of
cool marble shirt you got there, buddy.
Marvel.
Marble.
Hey, we used to shop at the Pulga, which is the co-op or the farmers flea market, and you get
Mhm.
the fake Tommy Phil figure, like one with 1M or he's
The
got
Phil
like
figure? Is that what you said?
they come up to you.
The Phil figure?
It doesn't have the green circle on the collar, then it's not real. And I always have the green one, so they're like, man, that guy buys real Tommy. That's I mean, I really want to watch Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I haven't seen that in a
I
long
own that
time,
one too.
and I need to
Yeah.
own that one. I remember watching that with my buddy that I watched Scream with, and I remember watching that one. We're like laughing our ass off, like I
See,
think
anytime I move, dude, I think like that's one of the first movies that I watch in my new place is like South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
even the title is so like in your face about it.
You don't even say the South Park movie. You just literally say the entire, at least I do, the entire title.
I mean, I did it right now. I didn't.
Yeah.
Or you'll say the whole title, but I mean, I think I did it right here with just what we're talking about. Have you done any animation movies that you thinking about? You want to kind of go back on or anything, or
Oh, that's a good question,
do
man.
you have anything animated you like to watch? I know I have a lot. I just
I mean, we could keep on Matt and Trey and do South Park and Team America. I mean, Team America is not necessarily an animation movie, but it is.
yeah, it is. I mean, it's a stop motion, so it falls under that realm. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that, like staying in this. I don't. I hope people listening don't want to just stay on the same topic. And I thought about that too. I didn't think about Team America. I thought about South Park and something else because South Park's so big. But
We got South Park. Oh, and The Simpsons. We could do this South Park movie and The Simpsons movie.
dude, I just bought the Simpsons movie randomly.
Ah.
That's so random. No, I mean, I have it right here. I just bought it. Went to Goodwill and I was like, let's see what we can find. And it was there, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then I got Iron Man, and the reason I got Iron Man because it was a Blockbuster Iron Man. So I was like, oh, shit, this one's from Blockbuster. I gotta get this.
Yeah, I was
And
right
then
on the cusp.
Yeah, because I figured it was 2008. I think is the movie or 2009.
Yeah.
What else? I got 4 movies. I also got what else did I get? I forgot what I got the other 2. I remember just grabbing them. But that's when I did get the Simpson movie.
Dude,
Um,
I
I
think
just
Simpsons and South Park.
I think Simpsons and South Park.
What were you gonna say?
I'm down with Simpsons just for variety change, but man,
I mean, if there were ever two movies to compare,
yeah, I think that's right, man. Like I'm trying to think.
I don't want to just keep hammering it home, but dude, you said that, and I was just like, oh, that because I mean, it's from two different decades. I mean, it literally 99 and 2007. All right, you have two different animation styles. You have two different takes, but you still have. I wouldn't even say that The Simpsons is raunchy, but it definitely totes that line, dude. It's not. I would say South Park is definitely a little bit more. Uh,
Okay, I mean, I'm totally messed up on this. I want to do the sagas too, but we gotta kind of like because the sagas are great. But let's do the movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I haven't seen it. I honestly haven't seen it since I'm in my 30s. So I know I haven't seen it in the last 6 years. So I'll
yeah.
definitely do that. I have seen the Simpson movie. I mean, it was earlier too, but let me break down the Simpson movie because I haven't even. I might even have to go back and watch some old, Simpsons just to kind of get the vibe back. But I'm down. Okay, so for everyone listening, we are gonna stick a little bit with Matt and Trey, but we're gonna go into South Park,
Animation.
bigger, yeah, bigger, longer, uncut, and then we're gonna do the Simpsons movie. I do want to compare those two because this is actually what we've been doing. We've just been kind of seeing like where people have gone. This is two different. These are two different elements. These are two. We usually say in the same world. So this is kind of like a showdown, so to speak. And see, just from the movie point of view, because these are from two animated series, well, comedy animated series that were able to spin off a movie. And I think because this is also different because Simpsons was forced. I feel like Simpsons was forced to make a movie, where the South Park movie blew up South Park.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, like the movie helped the show, and where Simpsons were like, I just felt like it's like you've been married for so long. Where's the kid? Where's the kid? It just kind of seems like that background. Like,
Well, and you also have, like you were saying just now. I mean, South Park. It came out in '99. I mean, the movie did, and the show came out what, late '97. So it had
97.
one or two seasons under its belt before it did a movie, and then you have The Simpsons that was what, 2007, like 16 years.
Yeah, it was a bit.
So you have that to compare with too. Like, um, yeah, dude, I think this is going to be a really fun one,
So
and
so
I
we're
think it's yeah.
so this now, and this is cool because this is a side by side original. We've never done this one before, so we're taking a side step and we're gonna just compare a little South Park to Little Simpsons. Right here, right now, we need to know which one we're watching first. Are we gonna go with South Park first, or are we gonna go with
Oh,
Simpsons first?
I think we. Oh
Because Simpson
man,
was here first, but the movie was here second, whereas South Park was here second, but the movie was made first. So it's also not only
let's let's do. That's a great question. I would say South Park first,
okay,
just because
chronological
just
order.
chronological. Yeah.
Uh,
But I mean that is a yeah. Okay, so South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut.
There we go. Yeah, and it's gonna. I don't want to say versus Simpsons, but it's going up against Simpsons in our point of view.
We'll just say
Um,
V. That way.
yeah, yeah. South Park v Simpsons. Yeah. Well, this episode was. We talk about Trey Parker and Matt Stone. We compared Orgasmo and basketball. And I want to say this one. We didn't really do too much of a comparison, but this was way more of appreciation.
Yeah.
I think this is equal, if not this is definitely equal ground for both of us, and I think that it was a little bit harder. It's funny because when we started talking about basketball, we just started breaking into scenes. And I think that's the point of that movie. And then Orgasmo kind of we were talking about build-ups and why the scene existed a little bit. Like I said, I with Orgasmo, it's an acquired taste, but yeah, I feel you gotta watch it. I feel like if you're especially if you're a filmmaker, you don't even have to be into the Matt and Trey. I think you just got to be into like the fact of what they did with the limitations that were around at the time, and you could use that for your modern movie or whatnot. But yeah, I'm ready to do this Simpsons v South Park. So
South Park v Simpsons.
yeah, sorry,
We'll
South Park. Yeah. We're going first. Well, yeah, South Park v Simpsons. So, well, we're still sticking with Matt and Trey, so let's move on. I will say that on Hulu right now, the Broken Lizard Boys Club Dread is on there.
Oh, and it's Beer Fest is on there too.
Oh man, so they got two. So wow, we could easily swim back to that now. But what I'm saying is, yeah, we'll see where we go. We don't know ever where the ship is leading. We're just on it and we're just enjoying it. So stay tuned for next week. Like I said, this was a side by side doing Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Next week we're doing South Park v Simpsons. I am CJ Robles.
I'm Ben Garrett, and this has been Side by Side.
All right, peace out.
You have a good night.